Everything working? Am I live? Let me check. I think I am. I don't know why I'm speaking in doubles today. Bear with me here. It's been a while. Okay, so I'm here and I'm playing Nocturne and I'm properly recording it here and everything's running smoothly from what I can tell. So yeah, quite a number of things to address, but first and foremost, if you've seen any of my streams before, you know me. I gotta do an audio check just to see if everything's good, because I'm running with new technology this time around. So yeah, I gotta double triple check on this stuff before we continue. This is kind of an experimental stream, I must say, because of all this new stuff. But yeah, allow me one check to test my audio here. Check 1 2 1 2. Am I loud? Am I quiet? What is going on? Okay, so I think audio levels are fine, right? From all the testing I've done on all the streams I've ever performed, I think the audio levels are good, because usually when I try and test it on mobile using my phone and using headphones, if I have the volume all the way up, it's way too loud. But if it's way too loud on mobile with headphones, if it's on desktop and using normal speakers, it's usually like it can be quiet. Sometimes, so I think it was a little too loud with the way the method I just tested. It's fine, so I'm just gonna keep it there. The one caveat here, though, is that whenever I speak, mic audio activates, and when that happens, you can kind of hear a very high-pitched ringing from my CRT. That's not very good, but hopefully that's mostly not noticeable for people. Maybe it's something that'll only be for headphone or earbud users, in which case I apologize. Might be completely better if it's just through a normal speaker on a laptop or a tower, whatever you're using. But yeah, if the high-pitched ringing persists on all devices and is perceivable by everybody, I definitely apologize. I might be able to work around that somehow, some way. I hope I can. If not, well, we'll see. I don't know. But as I said, this is somewhat experimental as a stream, because I'm doing new stuff here. So yeah, as I've done with many streams before, I've written down notes, so I'm gonna pull those up, go down on the list of things I need to talk about, because keeping this all cluttered in my head, I don't like that. So I've just put it up here on a notepad. Okay. First thing to address, it's been a while. I think last time I streamed was like 2 months ago, and there's not too many good reasons for that. I said I wanted to stream like regularly, and I was doing that like ever since I started doing streams. I was doing them like fairly regularly, like not exactly every day kind of regular, but you know. But yeah, last stream was that impromptu Dominoid one, and I wanted to stream more after that, but got caught up with some things, both IRL things and like playing certain games. For instance, the main big thing was on my off time I started a Persona 4, not Let's Play, just a normal playthrough. A Persona 4 playthrough on actual hardware, like normal Persona 4, not Golden actually, because I wanted to check out, you know, how that game was, because I played original Persona 4 way back in the day, And then I played Golden, and I preferred Golden a little bit, and I was like, I like the changes, but I wanted, it's been quite a number of years actually, but close on like 5 years I think since I played that original playthrough of Persona 4, in which case I dropped. So I wanted to go back and play it on real hardware, see how it was, and it wasn't I don't think as bad or anguishing as my first playthrough. As I said, I dropped it, but it was still not so good. I think I'd probably rate it about the same, honestly. But it was worthwhile, I'd say, you know, just go back and double, triple check how I feel about a game, something like that. But, you know, like, a full-scale Persona game like that, that takes a while, right? And I can't feasibly record that or stream it, because if I were to stream and record it, I'd want to commentate, and I can't exactly commentate on a CRT game like that. Until now, but we'll get to that later. After that Persona 4 playthrough, I started a Persona 3 playthrough, because I'm like, why not? I want to fit in another slot here for my off time playing a game. So I started a 100% run for that Persona 3 playthrough. I want to get all the Personas, I want to max all the social things, I want to do basically everything so I can say I've completed the game, right? I played Persona 3 FES original, and I'm doing it on real hardware too, if you couldn't guess. I've completed that game a few times now, but like not as many for a game that I kind of proclaim as probably my favorite of all time. But I'm kind of shaky on that title, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's been fun. I kind of putting that on the back burner now, though. I haven't played in a few days because I've also played another game recently, but I think I'll talk about that sometime later down the stream as just a random topic to bring up. So I'll get to that later. Now, with it being a while since I've streamed, I might suck at commentating, because I was kind of in a groove there for playing stuff like Deltarune and then Dominoid, and I knew how to convey myself and throw out my thoughts. I was in a rhythm, so to speak. But since it's been 2 months, you know, and I only talk so regularly and get my thoughts out there on stuff like video games so regularly, I might need to de-rust when it comes to commentating and talking about stuff. And not only that, I might suck at the game too, because I haven't played Nocturne in a while. Like, I actually sat down and played Nocturne, because when I got this new device here for video capture, that's the last time I played Nocturne, and it was only for just a test. I haven't really sat down and played Nocturne, so I may suck at the gameplay portion as well. But again, just a test, not really a test stream, experimental stream, whatever. But yeah, speaking of, yeah, I got a capture card, one that I am able to stream CRT games or RCA cable streams, what have you. And this game capture card here is, I believe, Elgato. What is it again? Oh, frick, I remembered the name and now I fucking forgot it. Elgato, it's like Game Capture Neo, something like that. It's like probably one of the cheapest on the market right now that's like highly regarded. I was looking at like a number of different capture cards, and I wanted ones that had like built-in RCA input. That would have been the most convenient for me, but a lot of those were, I don't want to exactly say legacy, because some people still use it, but I knew a lot of these capture cards had their own specific programs to them, and I did not want to do that. Like, I saw one that like had to come with its own disk that you downloaded a program off of to get that running. I'm like, how do I don't even know where to begin with, like, can I fork that program into OBS and stream off of that? I did not want to do that. So I knew off the bat, okay, I know for sure that Elgato products can immediately go into OBS. There's like no problems there, just very direct. So I'm like, okay, maybe I will go the route of Elgato, but Elgato, I don't think, it might be none of their capture cards have direct RCA input, so I had to do a conversion here. But to do a conversion and then go into the capture card, I didn't want to have to do like play through OBS, so to speak, because with all this setup here, there's a bunch of adapters and the sort that I have to work through. So there is actually some delay. I don't think it's gonna be too much of a problem when it comes to, you know, all this coming together for a stream, because it's just, you know, turn-based RPG. It's not really super imperative that everything's synced up, though. Maybe I will sync things up if I find a decent solution for that through OBS. If I can make everything aligned, that'd be nice, but for now I'm just leaving it as it is. But anyway, yeah, if a traditional capture card setup here, you would have to plug in the audio and video from the system into said capture card, and the capture card can go into the to your computer, laptop, whatever you have. But if you do that, then the audio video is only going into your laptop. It's not going into a stream, so or not into a CRT or a TV. So you need a proxy, and so I needed to split the cables, and that was actually kind of the easier end on that. But the thing about this capture card, also, I mean, I'm so jumbled with this whole process I want to relay, but it's not that complicated. A lot of people already know what I'm probably talking about, but I just want to go through the steps here because this is just the story of this whole thing. But basically, I got the cables from my PS2 going into splitters, right? Video and audio are splitting off into one side that's going into my CRT, so I have audio and video going into the CRT that I can play just normally as I normally would. And the other end of the split is going into a converter. It converts the RCA inputs of video and audio into HDMI, and then that HDMI is going into the Elgato Neo Capture, whatever it's called. And then that is connecting to my laptop, and then that's going into OBS, and that is how I'm streaming it. So yeah, I didn't want to, basically saying I needed to convert RCA to HDMI, and I also wanted to not play through OBS, so I need to do a proxy system, whatever. I've heard that term used, a proxy, so that it's playing through into its actual intended medium as opposed to playing through your recording software, and I didn't want to do that because, again, delay would be very annoying. But from a viewer perspective, I don't think the delay is going to be that big of a problem. Like, there's like, not even close to a full second, definitely not. But like, quarter a second if I had to guess, maybe 1/10 of a second at best. But yeah, that's this whole setup here. There's tons of wires going freaking everywhere. Funny thing is also with this capture card is that it's going through a cord of USB-C to USB 3, I think it is, and it's plugging into my USB port on my laptop. But the funny thing I found out was that I have 2 USB ports on this laptop, right? And when I plugged it into one, when I tested it a number of weeks ago, it worked fine, right? I could record on OBS all fine and good. And then when I set this up a few days ago to test for actually streaming, it didn't work anymore. And I'm like, oh, well, footage isn't coming through, what the hell's the problem? And then I switched the ports, just like trying to troubleshoot and like thinking what the hell could I do to make the video actually go in. And apparently like this is port dependent. I'm not sure if my port on the right side is fucked or something, but yeah, I plugged it into the right side, didn't work, plugged it into the left side, oh, it started working, right? The light on the thing was also like blinking, and that didn't look good, so it was fucked for whatever reason. I wonder if it's like one of these ports is not USB 3 but USB different version. I don't know. I'm not too knowledgeable on the hardware and on a lot of this stuff as much as I wish I was. But yeah, sorry for this as a whole freaking intro here. I just need to get all this stuff out of the way before I actually get to Nocturne. So sorry if you're hearing me rambling right now and it's really boring and you just want to see the gameplay. Maybe I'll have a freaking timestamp set up somewhere, description or whatever. Okay, yeah, that's the whole setup with the capture card is good. What else I want to talk about the capture card? Oh yeah, this capture card, I said it was Neo Game Capture Neo from Elgato. The market price is about $120, and I got this as an open box listing for like half that price, for like about $60, and I was really shaky about that because I recently received some money. And I'm like, oh man, I could buy a capture card with this, right? It's a decent chunk of change. But as I was looking, I'm like, oh man, the cheapest, most like budget option here is this one. It's like $120, and that would blow through most, if not all, of the money I'd received. So I was like, I need to find a bargain here, and I found one that was like half the price, and I was like, fuck yeah. But it was open box, and it was like a singular listing, right? It wasn't like, you know, something like 5, 6, 7 are available. No, it was just one that was available. It was open box status. And that made me concerned. I'm like, this is probably like the shadiest thing I could, like, if I was going to receive a broken product or something that didn't work, it would probably be through this avenue. But I'm like, I'm not paying $120 for just a simple capture card because I don't want anything fancy, right? I picked the lowest budget option here. I just wanted to capture normal gameplay, and I don't really care about the crispness or whatever. Crispness. Jesus, I'm rambling. I can't even freaking speak anymore. I guess with that being said, I would like to get something like a retro tink eventually, because But that's, you know, it's luxury. I'm just, for now, I want to capture things normally. I don't want to capture through my frickin' webcam, put it up to my CRT, because that doesn't look good or sound good. But anyway, everything I can tell here is fine, right? Picture quality is good from what from what I've seen. Might be a little dark, but maybe that's just the difference between you're seeing the footage through like an LED screen versus like cathode ray tube beaming light into your eyes. So I don't know. Maybe I'll mess around with how it looks. I'm not sure if there's options here in OBS that would make it look nice, but whatever. Yeah. So now that I have this, streaming has opened up for me a lot. I can play basically any PS2 game I could want and stream it. Did I say stream twice? Or did I know I can play any PS2 game, and I can stream it also because of this. Anything that I have available to me with RCA, real hardware, I can stream using this. Theoretically. Because the RCA to HDMI converter has two options for like 720 and 180p, and I know both of those options are compatible with this capture card I have here. Because some capture cards are like, it won't take certain resolutions, like it has pass-through thresholds and that sort of some bullshit like that. But I knew that this converter here would at least send information that would theoretically detect as 720 or 1080p, therefore it would count as valid and go right through. But yeah, so I can play any Sega Saturn game, I believe, because I have a Sega Saturn. I can use my perfectly legal copies of all these games, of every single game that's ever been made for it. What else do I have? I could, I have an N64. I could play the limited amount of N64 games I have. I'd like to get a summer drive. I heard that's a pretty good piece of hardware for that. And I do have a Wii. The thing about the Wii and the N64 I have, they're really dusty, and I have not played them in a very long time. The thing about like uncovering my PS2 like a year or two ago, year and a half probably, was that it was really dusty. I had to clean it up in the inside. I had to replace the laser, do all this junk. I know my Wii, I have like the disk drive inside is really fucked. Like in order to get a disc to eject, I have to like put it at a certain angle and some shit. But whatever. Streaming has opened up quite a bit for me. I have tons and tons of options. So yeah, that's really cool. For now though, I'd like to stick to, you know, comfort pick, an easy comfort pick here, and play Nocturne just for this experimental-esque stream, what have you. Anyways, recently, next bullet point on my list. My internet's been kind of spotty, so sorry if there's any interruptions, and I have to possibly make a second stream, because I know one of my streams, internet went down, and it like immediately cut off the stream, didn't allow me to extend it. But another stream, my internet did cut out, and then I quickly switched to like my mobile hotspot, and I was able to recover the stream, so it didn't cut off. So I have my mobile hotspot set up, so if the internet dies or whatever, I'm going to quickly switch to that. But yeah, next point. I actually wanted to stream a couple days ago, like when I actually set everything up in OBS here. I wanted to stream, I believe, Thursday. I could have streamed as early as like Wednesday, but I had a thing on Wednesday. I also had a thing on Friday, and when it came to Thursday, I'm like, okay, well, I have a thing on each day surrounding this day, and I can stream here today. But then, right as I got everything set up, I just like, all the energy left my body. I was like, oh man, lethargy hit me instantaneously, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll like lie down for a bit, and then I'll get the stream started. And then like I just fell asleep. So I was like, okay, and now here we are a few days later, because I had something also on Saturday that came up. Today is Sunday, and finally I've got an available day here. And even then, I'm still kind of tired right now, if I had to admit. I have a sody pop right here, just because it has caffeine in it, that I just took a sip of. Okay. I think I'm fine enough to continue and not have Title Loop 1 and 2 play over and over again. But I still have more points to talk about. Those points actually relate to playing the damn game finally. Oh shit. I need to switch memory card. I completely forgot. I have to actually get up out of my desk to replace the memory card. My apologies. I'll be right back. Okay, actually, let me... get the link for the stream and put it somewhere. Just in case some of my buddies want to show up. Okay. Also, something relating to my setup is that, like, I had to fiddle around with my mic settings, and audio stuff is weird. Like, I don't think I'll ever get this done. I have this old Blue Yeti from, like, 10 years ago that I bought, and I had to fiddle around with the noise gate as well. So, like, anytime I tap on the table here, like, I think that picks it up. I think my mic picks that up. Hold on, let me down the thing. Let's see the audio levels. Yeah, you can hear that. Like, anything that touches the mic, like, bumps it, you can hear that. So I have no freaking idea what I can do. I'm not an audio head, audiophile. Hopefully this is just serviceable enough. I just want to talk about games and play games and show it off. But I guess you could say the devil's in the details, right? In the sort, right, with certain crafts that I indulge myself in, taking shortcuts or cutting corners. And that's the phrase I was looking for. Can eventually build up and just be kind of bad to the point where, you know, you're not doing things super properly, right? I've talked about, like, I like mixology, and it's a concept that I could philosophically talk about for any number of minutes now, but I say with stuff like that, when you start cutting corners, like, you're gonna end up with a not so good product, right? When you have a not so good product, you get discouraged and, like, you're not really into it. So I have all the tendency in the world to be like, as I said, the example I wanted to use was mixology. It's like, hey, don't use, like, pre-squeezed juice, you know, don't use this kind of shaker because it's, like, hard to open, right? Like, I want to say all these things, but that comes off as snobbish, and that in and of itself might turn people away, right? So it's the whole idea of, like, convenience and accessibility versus, you know, motivation to go on and being happy with what the product is. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to continue streaming and doing this stuff and get better at it, but certain things here and there I'm not very adept at. It's certain things with software and hardware are very daunting for me personally. I can set up a stream here, but I don't know certain specific. I don't even know why I'm rambling. I should probably just get into the game. So I think the file I want is the one with the most time. That would make sense. And we are here in Ginza. I'm not sure. Is the video being stretched? I can't even tell, because I don't think this aspect ratio is 4:3, but on my CRT, of course, it's roughly 4:3. I don't know. I'm kind of antsy about stretching of PS2 games from 4:3 to something wider, because, like, dog, you see people playing Persona 3, for instance. Like, it's just the easiest reference I can think. You see people playing Persona 3 on, like, PCSX2, like, the portraits look so stretched, right? Even Persona 4. Like, I'm thinking of Yukari's sprites and Yosuke's sprites from Persona 3 and 4 respectively, and they look so fucking weird with it being stretched like that. It's so bad. But I think the footage I'm seeing here on OBS, it's not that bad. Yeah, we finally got proper footage here of my solo hard TDE playthrough challenge. That all the details. I kind of just want to call it solo run, but I need to include also solo hard TDE, this rule set, yada yada, which I can get into now. So I'm playing Nocturne. Finally can talk about Nocturne. So if this is your first time here watching and knowing about my Nocturne playthrough here, this is my solo hard TDE challenge. For me going through the challenge in this playthrough. I have so far documented my journey on this playthrough, of this playthrough on my Blue Sky. So if you want to see the full story of all this, you can go back and, well, close to full story. I didn't document literally everything, but every single major boss fight in the sort, right? I've tried to get footage for to prove that I did it. But if you're new here, you don't know the rule set. The full rule set is in the description of this stream and all the other Nocturne streams I've done. But basically, I'm only allowed to use the Demi-fiend inside of battles, no demons, no nothing in the battles. I'm not allowed to initiate negotiation with demons out here in the overworld, but if they initiate negotiation with me, then I can, do whatever. I can even recruit them, right? As you can see, I still have demons here in the party, but I cannot put them, I have the demons in the stock, but I can't put them in the party because they'll be summoned and yada yada. Now, this whole rule set here, there's other stipulations to the rule set too, like I have the additional press turn, by going through New Game Plus, and with it being New Game Plus, I also have the demonic compendium, which I'm using very sparingly. I think I've only used it a few times, right? I'm allowed to use demons outside of battle for stuff like healing and lighting up areas, right? All the overworld abilities here, like Estoma, Riborama, stuff like that. But as for anything related to combat, nope, no demons allowed, right? And I'm also on hard mode, and I'm also getting the true demon ending, which, fun fact about that, it's not like officially called the True Demon ending. I think that's something the fans just came up with and it stuck, so everybody just calls it that. I forget what LaRue videos. I'm not even sure how to pronounce his name, but shout out to LaRue, or it might be pronounced LaRue, I'm not sure, but shout out to LaRue. He makes cool content related to Atlas and SMT. But I forget which video he mentioned it in, but there is actually an official name for the True Demon ending. It might be, it's not Chaos ending, is it? It's something like that, but there are some, I think some of the endings are named in strategy guides as well. It's really interesting stuff. I'd like to maybe pull up those fun facts and write them down, relay them in a future stream. But yeah, that's it for explaining my run here, my rules, which is actually a pretty old rule set. Again, I stipulate in the description this is a rather old rule set, and it seems kind of arbitrary, right? Like my ban and negotiating with demons initially, right? It is weird, I know it's arbitrary, but I wanted to stick to like a rule set that people were somewhat familiar with, and some people have tested to make sure is cool. And so far with this playthrough, it has been very fun, right? I like this run a lot. I like this rule set, whatever it may be, right? It's cool. I played it, and I've been having a lot of fun. I've learned so many new things about Nocturne, right? Just so many little caveats, so many, I had to do research. The thing that off the top of my head is, what items do you get through those tunnels in the Labyrinth of Amala, right? That was very useful to know. I didn't know the third tube to the third Kalpa gives you, gems, and the first one gives beads, chakra drops, and I think medicines, those three specifically. There are other tunnels inside the Labyrinth, too. It's just a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I think a lot of those details I did also describe in my Blue Sky, so if you want more weird fun facts that you might not know about Nocturne, I found those and discovered them myself. Well, maybe I shouldn't say discovered. I'm not the first one to know about a lot of these. To my knowledge, though, right, there's some things that were really weird that I found out that I'm like, is this even a thing? This doesn't seem like it's a thing in Nocturne. And pivoting off of that, I think I've recently found out with this version of Nocturne, and that's one more stipulation I have in my description about this playthrough, is that I'm playing, and you might have noticed from the title screen, that this is not a normal version of Nocturne. This is the Chronicles edition, which is an updated version of Nocturne that officially released in Japan, that was updated, and it has Raidou Kuzunoha as the weird rival character that follows you around. That was added in Maniac's version, but from Maniac's version, there was also Chronicles Edition. I think it was released in 2008 or so, right? I think that's around when it came out. I mostly picked this version because it has Raidou in it, and Raidou's really cool. I find Raidou cooler than Dante. No disrespect to DMC lovers. But yeah, this is a fan translation, right? So I could actually, because it didn't come out in the West, right? I'm pretty sure this version didn't come out in the West at all until the HD remaster in 2021. But I wanted to play, original, of course, on this this fine PlayStation 2 real hardware. So yeah, I'm playing a fan translation. I have the credit for that in description. Here, let me find this. It's at the very end. Chris in Time Chrisanthyme, Chrisanthyme, made this fan translation for the Chronicles edition here. And I heard... Oh man. Hopefully I'm not lagging here. I was messing around with my browser. I should keep that closed out just for maximum bandwidth. The CPU usage, whatever. But anyways, I found out recently that this version, this fan translation version, I think I think it used the hard type mod as a basis for it, because I've been finding some weird things going on, like, oh, that's funny, I didn't know that you could use the pierce passive skill to use magic attacks and pierce through nullified magic attacks. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought that was only for physical, and like, huh, the beginning of the tutorial it's normally a Preda there, but it's here, it's in this version it's a Shikigami, right? I was thinking a lot of these odd changes were like, oh, maybe this is just Chronicles differences, you know, but I couldn't find anything documented on these weird features. And I heard something in a thread, but nobody's actually said, oh yeah, I found out this is like, this used hard type as a basis, or like there's some hard type things in here. Nobody outright said that, but there was some talks about like hard type things being related to this. I don't know, but needless to say, I'm pretty sure that there's some remnants of hard type aspects in here, such as Pierce, being able to use Pierce for magical attacks. Stuff like that. And also, maybe the stat bonuses randomly from certain Magatama, because people have said Marogera here in the Magatama section. Yeah, this one can only occasionally give you a free point in strength, but it was giving me free points in magic, it was giving me free points in, I think, vitality and luck at a certain point. Yeah, so I don't know if that's related to Chronicles, or maybe that's a part of... Because I don't know the full list of what was changed in hard type. I'd go on and explain what hard type is also, but that's basically just a mod that changes a bunch of things about Nocturne, and it's a mod for the original Nocturne. It's not too many mods out there for the original PS2 version of Nocturne, not ones that like do full-scale changes of the game. But yeah, so it's another quirk about this playthrough that I'm playing as a weird version. It's actually made a significant difference because I have Glacial Blast right now, specifically for the fight we're going to be doing this stream. And that's been good for clearing out enemies that may or may not have a resistance to ice or magic in general. So if I were playing on the original that didn't have this quirk with Pierce, anything that were to nullify or resist magical attacks or ice attacks, because it is Glacial Blast that I have, Glacial Blast wouldn't work, right? I have to use something like Almighty or different, like Freykugel, because I have Freykugel now, I think. How do I check? Yeah. So this is my status. At full strength, decent amount of magic and vitality. Agility and luck were kind of on the back burner, but I think now that it's something like... Robin and Zephyr have a good video on like all the stats here. Man, there's just so much to talk about with Nocturne, and I haven't commented. I feel like I'm fumbling my words so much, so please bear with me. I want to get all this out there, all my thoughts, because I love Nocturne. I love this playthrough I'm doing. Anyways, to continue, Robin and Zephyr have a cool video on a bunch of what the stats do and formulas relating to Nocturne. And I believe one of the things was that once you hit like level 65 and go above, you want your agility to be like above level 30, something like that. So I think that's what I'm trying to work on right now. Theoretically, you can farm stat boosting essences, or incenses, that's what they're called, by just farming from the market, right? And I didn't want to do that because that feels like really cheesy. That would remove a lot of the challenge from this challenge run. The only thing I really did with like abusing the gain of stats was mostly like restarting a little bit here and there towards the early game for free stats from the Magatama, and even then it was random as heck. But other than that, yeah, I didn't want to abuse my stat boosting stuff here. So I think I have a rather normal, typical setup here in terms of the stats. For my moves, I have Focus, Warcry, Fog Breath, Glacial Blast, Endure, Rakakaja, Pierce, and Avenge. That's what I have. Avenge used to be Tetrakarn somewhat recently. I was using Tetrakarn against the other 3 kings that I defeated, and I posted about recently on my Blue Sky footage of me killing them. But basically those fights were a joke, right? I guess normally, if you're fighting those guys normally, they can be pretty tough even at this level. But because they only use their element and physical, and like, you know, I guess maybe some stat boosts and stuff, but because they do that, you can just put on a Magatama to deal with their element, and you can put on Tetrakarn every single turn to nullify any physical that they'll throw at you. And because with the setup I have here, at least, or the rules that I'm going under, I have 2 press turns. I can use one for Tetrakarn and one for another thing, either attacking or recovering. But Tetrakarn actually takes up a lot of MP, like I think it's like 40, 45, something like that. So a lot of the time I was spamming Tetrakarn and then recovering as much SP that I could, or that's not SP, it's MP. SP is Persona, I think. It's probably in my head because I was playing Persona 3 earlier. But anyway, most of the time it was me casting Tetrakarn, recovering a bunch of my MP till it was full, and then casting Tetrakarn and hitting the boss over and over again. So it was a huge slog to kill those guys, but it was it was easy, it was simple, but you know, kind of boring. But whatever, right? I turned Tetrakarn into Avenge. I was thinking of turning it into Freykugel because I also need Freykugel, right? Tetrakarn was only used for those 3 king fights. I don't really need it going forward. Thinking about using it, using that spot, replacing it with Freykugel, because I was thinking, oh, maybe against Bishamonten, which is who I will be fighting this stream. I was thinking of using Freykugel against him because I could do a lot of damage, but after looking at the numbers and thinking about it, I'm pretty sure that Freykugel won't be doing too much. Just cost-benefit and analysis. I might as well, instead of just focusing Freykugeling, I should probably just hit with a bunch of Glacial Blast, because he's weak to ice. That's what Glacial Blast is. It's ice elemental, of course. And so since I have 2 press turns, I can hit him with Glacial Blast, right? Creates Blinking Press turn. Hit him with another Glacial Blast, another Blinking Press turn. I can hit him with theoretically 4 Glacial Blasts in 1 turn, and I think most of the time that's gonna do 4 Glacial Blasts is gonna do more damage than a focused Freykugel. I'm not completely sure on that, I just kind of guessed, so I had a choice between choosing Avenge, which, because that's an endgame move I have here. I'm going to keep Avenge until the very end of the game, and also Freykugel. I'm going to choose between those two, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not really going to use Freykugel. I'd probably just go with Glacial Blast a bunch, so I chose to opt for Avenge. I will be getting Freykugel eventually, and I think that's going to end up replacing Fog Breath. Yeah, the thing about Fog Breath is that I've kept it for a while, and I don't think that's very typical, but I've gotten so much use out of it. It's kind of cheesy, admittedly. Like I've cheesed a few boss fights here and there by just spamming Fog Breath and like kind of getting away with it, like just hoping that the enemy will miss. And I'll probably be spamming it in this fight coming up here later too. But yeah, I think this is my moveset basically completely, right? I'm going to keep all these moves except for Fog Breath, replace that. Actually, no, I'm replacing Glacial Blast too, because the only thing I need Glacial Blast for is this fight here for Bishamonten, because he's weak to it. It's one of the best sources of damage for the fight. So I think actually what my game plan is, I have a notepad somewhere I don't have up right at the moment, but I think my game plan is to replace Glacial Blast with Freykugel, and then either I keep Fog Breath, or I replace it with some other move that could be beneficial. And I'm mostly thinking the Kakatsuchi fight and the Lucifer fight, because it's basically the last thing I need to do. Defeating Bishamonten here, the last of the 4 kings, gives you a Magatama that nullifies basically everything, and that's good for the Lucifer fight, because Lucifer, I think, has access to all the elementals, so I'm pretty sure you want the Masakado's Magatama here. No, it's not that notepad. Where is it? Nocturne solo.text. That's it. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe going Dirahan, because I need to heal myself during the Lucifer fight, and I don't want to have to rely on just using beads, like farming 99 beads, because farming beads is kind of a pain in the ass, because you have to do that either through the market, right, which takes a while, or you need to do it through the tunnel, and I think I prefer the tunnel, but that even then, that the drop rate for that is rather low. So putting on Diarahan would just mitigate all that stupid freaking grinding to get a full heal whenever I need it. I could also go Life Surge, funny enough, because I think the Demi-fiends, assuming you have max vitality, and you probably will by a high level, the Demi-fiends HP goes to 99 guaranteed by like 120, 130 or something. And that's usually the recommended level, 120, 130, something like that for Lucifer, because that's the highest amount of HP you can possibly get, right? So that's what people recommend, but I was thinking I could do a cheeky thing where I go Life Surge and try the fight way earlier than quote-unquote intended, right? I could do it at like level 100 theoretically, see if I can do it. Now, the thing is, I think I have this in the description too. In this version of Nocturne, I didn't know this until like, I guess a few bosses ago, but this version of Nocturne, the Chronicles Edition, instead of dioramaing halfway through the fight, Lucifer diarahans, and that makes the fight an extreme amount more difficult for whatever reason, right? The fight just doubles in length, essentially. So, yeah, well, I think that would technically be 1.5 times, but whatever. You're running out of resources there. You have to last a significant amount of time longer, right? I think somebody said they tried this challenge on the Chronicles version, and they needed to grind to level 255 plus whatever it is, because I think at level 255... Actually, no. I'm forgetting the level system in Nocturne. I think it stops showing your level at 99 going to 100. And I think the actual cap for your level is 250, or maybe it just goes beyond that, I have no idea. But somebody had to grind to like a way high level to actually do this fight on this version. So eventually I'm going to switch over to the Maniacs version because I actually have a physical disc for it. So yeah, I'm going to switch over to the version where Lucifer has only diorama, because having him have Diarahan in the middle, no, I refuse. If I'd known that, I probably would have just done this whole challenge with the Maniacs version, because the only difference is it's Raido, and like I have a weird infatuation with Raido, so I chose this version, whatever. But I'm going to switch to that version when it comes to that fight. But anyway, yeah, original point was I might switch in Life Surge to get my health to level 99, or 999, way earlier than I should, so that I could theoretically fight him early, but that sounds like I'd have to make multiple saves, I think, test that out and see if it's viable, because once you learn a move, like, it's there and you have to get rid of it. When you get rid of it, you can't ever get that move back. So yeah. And once you hit the cap, I think, so many details, God, there's so many details I gotta remember and relay. I think there is some kind of level cap, and when you hit that level cap, you can't learn any more moves because you can't level up anymore. So, yeah, that was a problem in some certain people's challenge runs in Nocturne. It's very entertaining stuff to watch. But anyway, yeah, that's the status on all my moves. God, it's probably been like, how long has it been on the stream already? I ramble, man. When it comes to Nocturne, I love this game. I love Nocturne so much. I don't know what it is about Nocturne. I'm just so infatuated by it. It's very unexpected, honestly, because I played Nocturne way back in the day. I think after I did my whole Persona binge, whatever it was, way back post 2020, right? Maybe it was 2021. I played a bit of Nocturne. I got halfway through it and I like completely forgot to continue playing, so I only got like halfway through the original version of Nocturne. Then the HD remaster came out, and then I actually finished the whole game through that version, right? And there's a bit of contention over the changes in that version, but I'm overall glad that that version got released, because it's a very accessible way for people to get in the game, right? I want more people to know about Nocturne and to play it, but I understand the complaints about stuff like the lighting and this, that, and the third, right? I wanted to say grinding system, but there's some DLC where you could just grind grimoires to level up your demons and the sort, to cut down on like running around and grinding. Oh man, did you hear that? I'm not sure if that came up on stream, but there's some thunder outside. My goodness. Hopefully that does not affect my internet. Sorry if it becomes a storm, but whatever. Yeah, I'm already noticing I'm using filler words a bunch, like whatever and I apologize. I want to become more eloquent when it comes to my commentary. As I said, I am very rusty. But yeah. That's that. What's my next bullet point here? Talked about that, talking about that. Okay, I think I can actually talk about what we're going to be doing, right, that I alluded to earlier. We're fighting Bishamonten. Okay, that's his full name, but I have it in the thumbnail that the shortening of his name from Bishamonten to Bishi, because that was a joke. Robin and Zephyr. I mentioned Robin and Zephyr earlier. Very cool channel they have there. I love all the stuff that they do. Cool videos. Shout outs to them. But when they were doing that run of their solo hard TDE run with only one press turn, by the way. Actually, no, they didn't do it on hard mode. I think that one was on normal mode. But it was still with one press turn, which makes it more impressive than what I'm doing here. But anyway, that was a very long and arduous battle for them, and they eventually like nicknamed Bishamonten Bishi, which I thought was really funny. So I just kind of borrowed that, threw it in the thumbnail. Why not? And also probably would have been very cluttered in the thumbnail if I had the full name Bishamonten. But funny enough, in this game they shortened his name from Bishamonten to Bishaman. But the full real name of him is supposed to be Bishamonten. Where am I going? I think it's Harunoichi. I don't think I've ever attempted to pronounce that before. Until now. So yeah, we are fighting Bishaman, the last of the four kings, and this is actually technically a rematch because you have to fight him earlier and he has a much weaker moveset. Wasn't too terribly difficult, I don't think, when I tried it in this playthrough, right? It was a fairly simple battle. But now, we're fighting him again here as a rematch, and he is much stronger than his brothers. He's not a pushover. I can't use the whole Tetrakarn cheese, what have you, against him because he gets really angry when you use stuff like Tetrakarn and any kind of repel or I think null is in there too, and absorb. Like if you null absorb whatever, anything related to physical, or I think it might be anything. Maybe it's just fire and physical because that's what he specializes in. But if you do that, he gets angry and he spams a bunch of stuff and it essentially becomes unwinnable, right? Kinda. Because if you have any kind of reflect or what have you with like physical or magic, he can still use Almighty, and he has Megiddo alone, and he can boost his magic, so he's just gonna spam that all the time until you die, so can't just use that cheese strategy, right, against him, so this is a lot more involved, and he's got a lot of abilities. In fact, oh, I almost forgot, I can drag and drop his moveset into OBS here, that I pulled from the wiki. Oh, that's the wrong window. I pulled from the fandom wiki, which I didn't want to do because I don't like fandom or the fandom wiki. There's a different SMT wiki that I like to show more, but that one's still largely under construction. I don't think they have full movesets for a lot of demons and boss fights. So I had to rely on the fandom wiki, sadly. But you know, credit to them, I guess, because this is where I got it from. This is his moveset, and it's very tiny on the OBS screen here, so I might need to make it bigger. In fact, I'll just make it the whole screen, why not? You got Dragon's Eye, which gives him a bunch of freaking press turns to do whatever the fuck he wants. Darakaja, Makakaja, for buffing himself. Megiddo own in case he gets angry. I think you can use that normally too, which is rather scary. Prominence, which is heavy fire damage to random foes, and that can strike you twice, by the way, so that's like, you can get hit by like a double Agidine in a single freaking turn, man, it's rough. But he also has normal Moragidon. I don't think he'll use that against me as a single target, whatever. He also has Hellfire, which is like a weaker version of Prominence. I'm not sure why he'd want to use that unless he wants to conserve on MP or something, because I think you could theoretically run him out of MP, but I'm not going to do an MP stall strategy. That sounds boring. And even that might not be viable, because you have to survive all this shit, and you can't reflect everything, but whatever. I've got Tempest, which is like his main form of physical damage. I think he can attack normally too. He also got Takaja, so anything I buff myself with, I think I only have Rakukaja. I used to have Sugukaja on this build, but I got rid of it. I only have Rakukaja, and it's probably imperative to keep that up as high as possible at all times, but he might just freaking get rid of it. He doesn't have Takunda though, which is kind of my ticket to using both Warcry and Fog Breath just to keep his stuff low. He can buff his... If I Warcry him a bunch of times, he can still use Terakaja Makakaja, but when it comes to accuracy, I can Fog Breath him, and his accuracy on him is going to stay low forever, which is why I wanted to keep Fog Breath up until this point, even though I don't think it's typical for this kind of run, but I'm just going to see how that goes. But the key thing that I wanted to point out is the last move down there, Debilitate, which decreases every single aspect of your buffs and debuffs, whatever, the status of those, and that is not good. If he uses that, that's nearly permanent, right? Except for the Rakukaja bit, or the defense bit, I should say, because I can Rakukaja any debilitation there. When it comes to attack, when it comes to magic, when it comes to accuracy, that is permanent when he uses that Debilitate. So if he uses Debilitate, that's not good. That's like a choke point. That's a threshold. Like, you can't have him use Debilitate too many times, or else it's going to essentially become unwinnable. I need to distract him. I need to make sure. Funny thing is, in my test playthrough of this, he used that quite a number of times, actually, because he got a number of free moves, right? Because I was playing very shitty, I missed a bunch of Glacial Blasts, right? And he used that opportunity to use Debilitate. So if you fumble at any point, right, you might use that, and it might screw you over in a permanent fashion, right? That's not good. If he hits you to, like, 1 HP, right, but the turn goes over to you, you can just use, like, a bead, right? That's just, you can heal yourself, right? That's not permanent, but when it comes to Debilitate, that's quite permanent for a lot of aspects here. That's not good. So that should be avoided at all costs, right? That's one of the aspects that makes this also more difficult than his brethren, because his brethren can, I think, only buff themselves. Maybe one of them has debuffs, but, you know, they don't have to Kunda Dekaja. Whatever. Bishamonten, both in this challenge and otherwise, is very difficult. And way better than his brothers. So, yeah. I might not have said this full statement yet, but this is more than likely the most difficult fight in the entire run, which is why I want to stipulate here, and I think I might have said it earlier, that I don't think I'm going to win today. It might very well be a whole bunch of attempts that don't go anywhere. Hold on, I'm going to delete the... Oh, no, delete that. Delete. Yes. Okay. So this might not go well, but I need to get through it eventually if I want to complete this run. More than likely, I got to do this. I'd at least want to do this, right? Because it's one of the major boss fights, right? It's technically optional, but getting Masakatos here is going to be a real great benefit, because I can any single like random encounter I could get, or anything I could sustain from Lucifer's magical attacks, right? All that waved away by Masakatos. I believe that's it's going to be very beneficial to me. But even then, I still want to do this fight regardless, because it looks fun, but it also looks very painful. So I think we can start with an attempt here. Whew. Okay, let me take a sip of my soda here. Alright, one last thing before I press the X button to initiate. In terms of items, I have a decent amount of MP recovery, so I don't have to worry about that stuff, I don't think. If I have to use, like, something like a chakra pot eventually, I'm fine doing that. Or a great chakra, someone drop it. I think I can use a few of these here. There's only so many more fights in this. But I think I still... Hold on, I need to pull up the remaining boss fights, because I think I still... Yeah, because I don't have a free Kukul yet, I need that for... I did Ariman, right, for the Reason boss fights. I'm talking about the Reason boss fights. I did Ariman, but I haven't done the other two, the other two Reason boss fights. So, yeah, from the Shaman, I need to go to the other two Reason fights, and then I think I can go do Kakatsuchi and then Lucifer, right? So we only have so many battles left here. So I don't think I need to worry about anything like MP management. I can throw in a few items here, but as for... Excuse me. I have 52 beads. This... I remember the grinding session for this. It took quite a while. I was up until like 3 a.m. or some shit, just going through the first tunnel in the Labyrinth of Amala getting beads. There might be a better way to get beads, I don't know, I don't care. I got about 50 of them, right? I could have gone way ham and gone 99. I don't know, I don't care. I'm not sure how many I'll need or whatever, but yeah, I got 52 of them here. And the other key item I want to highlight, is it all the way down here? It's not going to be highlighted because I can't use it outside of battle. I think it's here. Yeah, Dakaja rocks. As you can see, he has buffing skills on himself, right? He has Terrakaja, Makukaja, and I can't really... well, I could use Warcry, but if he gets it up to 4, right, a +4 on his stuff, and he usually can do that if you're not prepared. It'll be more efficient to just Dakaja all that away, as opposed to using 2 like Warcries, because Warcry is a -2, but if he's up +4, I need to use 2 -2s to get him down to neutral, right? Instead of that, I could just use Kajarak to get rid of it. I'll put it to 0. Other than that, I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay, let's do it. I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. I don't know. As I said, I'm rusty. I could make very stupid decisions. I'm gonna take off my coat real quick. Give me a second. Okay. I'm not sure if I mentioned yet, but whenever I talk, you might hear a little bit of audio coming from my CRT going into my mic. So sorry if you hear some kind of desynced double audio. But it is what it is. We're gonna have to deal with it for the stream. Anyways, yes, here it is, Bishamonten, or more traditionally, Bishamonten. Should I read the dialogue? I don't know. I don't think it matters. This is like my 15th playthrough of Nocturne. Let us begin, sauce! Yep, that's me. So he gets the first turn like an asshole. And that's an immediate debilitate. That's an immediate double okay. I'm not sure if AI is different. Whether it pertains to chronicle differences or maniacs differences or part type differences, I don't know. But yeah, double debilitate, not good. I don't even think he did that in my test playthrough. So, as I said, he has no way to get rid of the accuracy debuffs, so I'm going to Fog Breath him twice. Why not just throw that out there? Don't have to mess with that. He can't mess with it either on his end. Here's the Dragon's Eye. He could very well just kill me. Normal can Oh, that's it! Oh, I dodged it! I dodged it again! Yes! I dodged it! I think. Hold on, I completely forgot. Yeah, I should be using Glacial Blasts to to get damage off, and then 2 more turns, right? Either 2 more Glacial Blasts after that, or whatever else I need. But with him debilitating me twice, I very well could have missed those. But now that I have Fog Breathed him, I'm not too scared of that. 233. I'm a little far away from my CRT, a little more than I usually am, because I'm here streaming, I'm a streaming setup, yada yada, so I need to kind of squint. I probably need glasses. That's a weird comment to make, but I think I'm supposed to have glasses. Things somewhat far away look a smidge blurry these days. And I'm not getting old, I'm in my 20s. I don't even know what to do now. This is gonna be a big learning process. I guess I could Warcry. I should probably heal myself. That's probably priority number 1 right now. Did he buff himself? I don't think he buffed himself yet, so I'm gonna Warcry. Yeah, keeping track also of like where buffs are can be a little hard to juggle if you got buffs and debuffs on your end and they got buffs and debuffs on their end. Dukuna Dakaja also. That's gonna be 4 Makukaja. So he's +2 on Makukaja, and then he's going to use Megiddo Line. Did I make him mad? Hopefully I didn't make him mad by doing something. I might have, actually? Wait, what Magatama do I have right now? Did I even... yeah, that's another thing I probably forgot. I need a proper Magatama, so I very well might just lose. Double Glacial Blast. I'll do it. Main source of damage here. Though that will dry out my MP much quicker than using Kugel, for instance. Speed. And we'll cry again just to bring him to neutral for magic, and I think that should be -4 on physical attack. Okay, if he does +4, he's gonna be neutral all around, which is good. I'm not sure what I need. I think I might have the proper Magatama from testing. I think what I want is a resist physical. Is that what I want here? He's fine with resist. If you resist stuff, if you resist fire or you resist physical, I think he doesn't get mad at that. Oh yeah, I forgot that. In this game over sequence, if you can skip it, but you need to skip it quickly, or else you're locked out of it, out of skipping it, something like that. If you don't skip it like within the first few seconds, it continues on. Yeah, that's a game over. What Magatama do I? As I said, I've been so focused on like getting his capture card set up and the stream set up, so some of the things in game might be a little neglected. I apologize. I don't want to be this. I don't want this whole thing to be a waste of time. It would be really nice if I could actually kill him. In fact, I should probably save at Arunacho. What's the name of it? Probably save here so I don't have to teleport each and every time. But yes, I need to check what Magatama I have. I was in Ginza, I think, for trading for the last few Dakaja rocks. Yeah. I think I was grinding in the 3rd Kalpa tunnel to get stones from there, and trade those stones for Dakaja rocks. I think that's what I was doing last. And I also think I have a repel spell on right now, so I don't have to worry about random encounters. I think I'm at the point where random encounters here and inside the Bando Shrine aren't gonna pop up if I have repulse stuff, because if you have repulse bell or Estoma, it only works if when it's being applied to demons that are a lower level of you, something like that. But even if you're higher level, I think they can still get you. Yes, he went from red. The system at the bottom right of the compass is really cool. I like it a lot. It's like a slight warning that you're about to get into a random encounter. I don't think I've seen anything like it in another RPG. But yeah, when you skip an encounter through Estoma or Repulse Bell, that's what happens. It turns red, and after it turns red, it should be an encounter, but it turns back to yellow if it's skipped. Okay, what Magatama do I have on? Jesus. I have Nirvana. Why do I have Nirvana on? If I have... I think I want Gaia, because that gives me the maximum for Vitality. And anything else that's resist fizz. Yeah, pitiful stats, Vitality +2, Agility +3. Which doesn't even bring me to level 30 or 31. Rakumo is weak to fire, he's got fire. Nope. I'll get extra press turns, that's definitely not good. If not, just outright kill me with something like Prominence, oh my god. But this one gives me to 40 stats on Vitality, and he doesn't have Light, Dark, or Force, don't have to worry about that. And it resists Fizz, so I will be actually living some of his physical attacks from now on. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, I'm not sure if this being Chronicles or a basis for hard type has anything weird with the AI, like he's using Debilitate more because of that. Hopefully not. If this goes terribly wrong for the rest of the attempts I'm doing here, I might test this out on Maniac's version just to see if it plays out differently. Maybe it's just completely random. Okay, no, he's just starting out with Debilitate again. Should I whip out my Maniac's disc? Oh boy. Well, I'll do what I did last time, I guess. I could theoretically grind more levels if I really needed to for higher HP and higher stats, but I don't know. I'd rather not. It's gonna be 4 Terrakajas and probably my Endure pop. Ooh, very close. There's Avenge, yay! It does about 300 some. It's like a heavy attack. It does quite a bit of damage, more than you might expect. So, oh yeah, I completely forgot I should be using Rakaja eventually. I think I'm careful. Careful, I can use some Glacial Blast here. I should heal. And I will apply Rakaja. Alright, that's going to be +4 in magic as well. Alright, we live in that one too, just barely. Hopefully I don't miss any of these Glacial Blasts, that would be very terrible. The 2 Glacial Blasts, I will heal, and then I'll Dakaja Rock because he's +4 on both of those. I think with all these fights, including this one, even if they're at +4, if they're at the maximum, they might still keep buffing themselves with their press turns. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that though. Heal. Another coaching. Oh, that's prominence. Dodge it! Oh, I did not dodge it. And I'm probably dead. Oh, I dodged it! Dodge it! I didn't do it. Alright, that's dead. Yeah, this is a very, very difficult fight, as you can tell. I didn't know he could use all his press turns like that just to attack over and over again. My goodness. Yeah, that's why you need to keep your defense topped up. That's why you don't want him to debilitate at all. Yeah, I don't know. If he just keeps debilitating, I might switch out, honestly, to Maniacs and see if it's any different, because if he's doing that very reliably, I'm not sure I want to keep banging my head against the wall just to die on turn 5 or something, because he's got a decent amount of HP. It's in the 5-digit range. Was it like 10,000? Something like that? It's either 10,000 to 20,000, and as you saw, I was doing like 200 to 400, maybe close to 500 at best with my Glacial Blast, so yeah, it's gonna take quite a while. And even then, if I miss, right, the Fog Breath is pretty reliable, but at the same time, it's not a guarantee to land stuff. If I miss any of those, I'm probably screwed. If I go for one, I miss, I lose my second press turn, and then I'm probably done. It's quite risky, because if you go for Glacial Blast at the beginning of the turn immediately, right, and then you miss, and you were supposed to heal yourself later, well, sorry bud, he's just gonna hit you and you're gonna die. Forgot, I need to switch out Akatama each time. But if you use your first turn to heal yourself using a bead, well, you skipped out on a whole press turn, right, which you could have gotten, theoretically, 2 whole uses of Glacial Blast. Right, 2 effective moves per se, one including a Glacial Blast. Lots of fun logistics here with Nocturne. It's I don't want to like gush to the point where I'm like, oh my god, it's such a deep game, but it really is a cool system here. The press turn system is just so awesome and engaging. I can come back to it many times. Are you going to debilitate me again? Please say no. No, he's not. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Assuming we can keep him preoccupied, we might be able to get away with him not debilitating at all. Hopefully. Okay, no Endure. Fine and good. Good, fine. Thing is, though, I need to heal myself because of that. I think, should I Fog Breath Bead? I don't know. I think I'm fine foregoing any additional turns with Glacial Blast for now. Because I have had it before where I get lazy, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna throw this out without using Fog Breath or Sugukaja, and then I miss, and then I die. I will use Fog Breath. Because now that he's not double debilitating me, we get kind of an advantage here in terms of how often I can be dodging him. And I'll beat. Dragon Eye. No debilitate. Great. That was the thing about the Metatron fight too. Disadvantage. My god. Whatever it is, please dodge it. Oh, I dodged it! I have Endure still, I think. Alright, that's our Endure. Great. Lovely. I already used one Fog Breath, so I'm gonna Glacial Blast. Yeah, having our Endure pop this early is not good. It's that's quite the safety net, and it's already gone. Hopefully, if we can get a system here where it's like he's at -4. Oh, don't do that! No, that's not good. I just had to speak. I didn't knock on wood. I was gonna say if we get a system going here where he's at -4 in terms of accuracy, and I can keep all my Rakukajas up in terms of defense, then we will be in a pretty good spot for a lot of this. Pretty safe. But now that he's Debilitate, that's not good. Still have full health, so I don't need to heal. Another Bishamonten Blast. Probably not gonna miss. I could Warcry. I should probably Rakukaja. This brings my defense to neutral, but it'd be most ideal if I could keep it in the positive range and... Is he normally this way? Does this happen usually? Yeah, see, look, the damage I have is absolutely pitiful now. Oh my god. Neutral again, running out of MP. This fight is very painful. God. I guess I didn't do too much right there. And I'm dead. Oh my god. Did I? Oh man, I don't know. Did I look up other people playing this fight? Because again, it might be a Chronicles issue, it might be a hard type Remnant, I have no idea. Him using Debilitate like this is really bad. Him actually having Debilitate, that's not new. That's not weird, right? He should normally have that in his moveset, but I'm talking about like AI and stuff, like what he's programmed to do and how often. It'd be funny if you could miss your buffs or debuffs. I'll give it maybe a few more attempts, and if it still goes bad, I might try something else. I might do some research, might switch out my disc. Well, I don't have a disc in, right? But you didn't hear that from me. Maybe do another audio check, because the stream's been for a while, and I haven't done that in a bit. I'd rather not do a whole thing where I calculate how much damage I've done to him to see... Jesus. To see when I can kill him or like project, you know, my progress. I don't necessarily want to have to do that. It might become necessary, who knows, but this is the most difficult fight in the run. I guess that might be debated a little bit between people, because again, you can like grind as much as you want, and this fight might be a lot easier, given that scope, especially with the rule set I'm under, or the constraints of I can still have 2 whole press turns from the New Game Plus, which definitely makes things a lot better. Starting off with that. I'll get avenge. Avenge it! Yes! And there goes my Endure, and he still has an additional Prestard. Am I gonna die? Oh my god. That wasn't even like debilitate shenanigans. Oh man, even if I do get through this, it's still gonna be a little bit of a matter of luck, probably. I said I'd give it a few more tries. Yeah, they weren't joking. They were not joking when they said this is the most difficult run. The most difficult fight, I should say. But yeah, I did mention the Metatron fight earlier. I actually did a stream for that. Very shoddy, very bad. No capture card or nothing, so the quality of the video is very, very bad. But it was a really fun fight. Kind of similar to this one too, honestly, weirdly enough, because Metatron does both. He has both Terrakaja and Makukaja. He has a hard-hitting almighty attack. He has debilitate, right, which puts things a little bit on a timer. Right, so it's quite similar actually, and that fight was really fun, right? It was just such a fun dance between, like, you know, sometimes he'd buff himself, sometimes he'd attack, sometimes I need to heal myself, sometimes I need to use my Rakukaja, because he might be using debilitate sometimes. He wasn't using debilitate like left and right, like how it kind of looks like here. Wait, I should probably switch and then save, so I don't forget. But yeah, there's so many things going like back and forth, so many decisions to make in that fight. It was incredibly fun. It was like its own boss fight, right? It was not like any Metatron fight I'd ever fought before, not like any other fight I've ever played through Nocturne before. Like it was so fun just doing that back and forth between me and Metatron. Same with the Scotty fight, because that also involved buffs and debuffs, Dukunda Dakaja. Right? How often are you healing? How often are you helping yourself with buffs and debuffs? Okay, he's going for this. Nope, can't kill me. Bye bye. Should I get ballsy? I'll get ballsy. Why not? Fog breath and I'll heal. Okay, one more fog breath. It's permanent, and then I should probably work on Rakukaja's. Hopefully he doesn't debilitate. He still has buffed up. Okay. My bad. Please miss. Oh, I should have used the Dakaja Rock, I guess. Yeah, contrasting off of my compliments of certain fights such as Scotty and Metatron, some fights in this run are very painful and will make you want to quit and never play Nocturne ever again. But I don't know, that's kind of on point for Nocturne, I guess, is that you'll suffer a very cheeky death and you'll just be like, why do I play this game? But it's fun, I like it. I really like that Nocturne is unabashedly difficult for a lot of it. By the way, there's a debate about like, oh, Nocturne isn't actually that difficult, or especially Monitor isn't actually that difficult. It's like, okay, well, there's what something is difficult, and it's very, 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 very relative, especially for a game like this. I had a whole thread that I deleted on my Blue Sky because it was, I don't want to leave like very negative stuff on there. I like to keep things like positive and, you know, show more fun stuff. I want to keep that platform a little clean. But now that we're here on my stream, I'm just gonna come out and say my full thoughts on that. In that, when it comes to like whether something like Matador is hard or not, it really depends on how much information you have. Because if you have all the information of the fight pre-baked in your mind, like you've played the game 5, 6, 7 plus times already, of course you know he's going to use Red Capote. Of course you know he's going to use Taunt Andalucia at a certain point after a certain phase, right? Of course you know X, Y, and Z. Of course you know this is a proper level for the fight. Of course you know buffs and debuffs are important, right? If you have all that information, of course the fight's going to be much, much easier for you, right? Whereas if you're a newbie, you've never played this game before, right? You keep yourself relatively spoiler-free on it, right? You're going to that fight blind, you're probably only going to have so many pieces of that puzzle, and then you'll die, right? And the difficulty of the fight is getting those pieces of information, putting them together, incorporating them, and finishing the fight, right? That's where the difficulty actually relies on, right? For something like this, that's a turn-based RPG. Oh, an actual encounter, wow. Okay, because I have 25 smoke balls, oh my god. I think that gem grinding from the third Kalpa tunnel really boosted that. I remember a time where I only had so many of these. But because this is more than likely a run that won't make it, I'm just gonna smoke out there, why not? But yeah, anyway, going back to that. For a game like this as a turn-based RPG, most of like what makes a fight difficult is knowing what is a part of the fight. It is largely an information game. So when people say, "Oh, Nocturne was," or not, I guess Nocturne as a whole, people can say that. Matador isn't that hard. It's super easy. Why did this, that, and the third? You know, I'm not really a fan of it because like it's rather, it feels very gatekeepy. I want more people to play this game, right? And if people keep thinking, you know, this game is super easy, and then they go into it thinking it's easy, and then they don't, they get absolutely fucked by something like the Matador fight, and they're like, "Oh, everybody finds this game so easy," and like, oh, this might not be good. Basically saying it's going to discourage a lot of people from continuing or playing Nocturne, and I'm not a fan of that. This game is, relatively speaking, right, given people who play the game, people who are going in completely blind, is hard. It's a hard game, right? These fights right here, if you don't know what's going in them, they are super duper difficult. Coming from my experience, I've played Nocturne a decent amount of times, right? Maybe 10 plus times if I had to like really pinpoint. Because I got all of the achievements on the HD remaster version, which requires you to get every single ending. So that's 3 reason endings, and a chaos ending, and a freedom ending, and a true demon ending. And I also played a little bit I've played a few playthroughs here. Excuse me, my throat. Played a few playthroughs here on actual hardware. So now that I've played this game so many times, I know a lot of its ins and outs, a lot of the details of the key fights. This game relatively is like fine and fair. Of course, I'll suffer the random occasional game over, just getting fucked by like a critical hit or something, or oh, I accidentally had the wrong Magatama on, and then they get a bunch of additional press turns off of that, right? Occasionally I will have those cheeky deaths that I'll be like, oh, whatever. But largely speaking, because I have so much information in this game, it is not as difficult as it once was for me. But even then, it's still great coming back to this game. I really like it. It's got so many nooks and crannies, so many things I didn't know about before. Again, this playthrough alone here has taught me so much about Nocturne. Some of which can be explained actually by it being using hard type as a basis, kinda. I don't know. I'm still unconfirmed on that information there. But I think for the most part, a lot of the discoveries I've made are actually true and real, and I just have not noticed before about actual base Nocturne. So yeah, I could gush all day, every day about Nocturne and why I think it's cool, and it's not afraid to be a rather difficult experience, and encourages you to get better, learn more about it, right? Encourages more for replay-throughs as well, because sometimes you'll want to go strength build. You're going to try magic build eventually, which, by the way, isn't actually all that bad. It just falls off late game, and it is really stupid how it's coded in the game. Like, I mentioned Robin and Jeff were talking about the magical stat earlier, and yeah, a lot of that stuff is stupid. But if you actually go a magic build, it's not that bad. You got a lot of options here for you. It just kind of falls off a little bit. And I have done, I think, a hard mode magical build on the HD remaster version, and it went completely fine. Should I? I don't know. Maybe I should start Rakukajoing earlier. No, I'll fight breath. But yeah, there's so much you can do. I want to play like a really weird Demi-fiend build. Oh, not that Bellatate. Because I've only really done the 2 main builds of like physical and magical, maybe a weird build once or twice here, but I want to do some really whacked out stuff. Like I want, like, you can get like Mamudo on Demi-fiend here, or like a Hama build. Like, you can do so many weird things. You can make him a healer if you want, right? Like crazy. I want to see the fun little things you can do, even if it's not optimal, right? It'll make the game more difficult, but that's fine because the game is, as I said, relatively more easy. Now that I know a lot of things about a lot of fights. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I forget the specifics, but I think, and I'm sorry if I'm spoiling this, I'm kind of breaching information that isn't fully public, but I've talked about it before. There's a mod that's being developed for the HD remaster of this game called Insaniacs, which is basically the modern day version of Hardtype, where it changes a lot of stuff, adds new moves, does fun stuff. It even incorporates the potential system from SMT 5, which I really like, and also passive skills too, something like that, like unique passive skills for demons. Oh, it's so cool. I played all the way to like Kabu. What's the name? That's the prison. How did I forget? Oh my god, I probably can't remember Japanese names and titles right now as I'm just spouting off a bunch of information here on the stream. But yeah, the Insaniacs mod, oh man, or debilitates. It was like, I think halfway done at some point, like some number of months ago, and there was a demo out, and that was really fun to play. I played up to Kabukicho Prison, I think that's what it is. And it was really fun. That wasn't the end of the demo, though. I forgot to keep playing at a certain point. But I've been patiently waiting for the full release, and I think it actually is coming out soon. I think there's like one more big thing that the developer, whose name is Zephyr, I believe, has to do, and after that, it's basically content complete. It might be released. So I apologize if I shouldn't have relayed that information, because I think it's only been said on Discord. The product in the, because I went into the Discord. I'm like, oh, there's Discord for this mod, or Discord for the developer, and he said it's largely finished. So yeah, so I don't think too many people are going to be watching and viewing my stream here before that gets actually posted. I've been talking about so much random crap I forgot about the battle. Oh my god. What am I doing? What's happening? He debilitated me a bunch. I think I'm at -4. Oh, and I missed. Just kill me. I could talk about Nocturne all day. I've been talking about Nocturne like this whole general discussion. I've been talking about Nocturne. I have a list here of like other topics I could be speaking about now that I'm dead. Yeah, okay, I canceled the game over there. I got it there. If you wait a few more seconds, you can't cancel it for some reason. I'm not sure why they did that. Alright, one or two more attempts and I might switch over X. See if it's different. Allow me to not speak for a little bit, because I've been rambling on. Nocturne gets me very talkative. Okay, let's do this. More Makakages, probably Megiddo. That's so that's so hard to say in English. Like it's kind of straightforward in Japanese, but when you actually translate it over, it's Nagito Laon. I heard some people like round out the A and O at the end, like Nagito Laon, but I don't exactly think it's supposed to be pronounced that way. Read. I'm not sure if there's any like specific trigger for him using debilitate or what. Do a bunch of shit here. I had to endure that. Dodge it! Oh my god. Again, no debilitate shenanigans, so this fight just really is naturally hard. That's why it really is imperative to get him to -4 in accuracy and you on +4 Rakukaja. Because if you don't, well, he's gonna hit you basically guaranteed, and he's gonna hit hard. I don't know, it can go into like a kind of philosophical argument here. Maybe I shouldn't say philosophical, but it kind of feels like I am just kind of gambling here, you know, just it kind of comes down to RNG whether he uses debilitate or not, or whether he goes for quadruple buff to whatever move afterwards. It would be most ideal if I could just get him to do the moves that will allow me to get him to -4 on accuracy and +4 defense on my part, without him using debilitate too much afterward. If he can use it like a few times, right, that'd be fine, but I don't know, it seems like he's programmed, if he does use it, to just use both of the main press turns he has, both on back-to-back debilitates. Opposed to just throwing it in randomly. Okay, this whole place here, the Bando Shrine, there's no map for it. I'm pressing triangle here to open up a map, there is no map. Which makes navigation very confusing, right? Oh my god. That is a random encounter, I'm not supposed to have to. But my repel just ran off, so. But yeah, because this place is like, it has slopes and is multi-layered and the sort, like I pulled up a map. I think the guy is named Just Craig on GameFAQs. Even keeping track of that map, it was as detailed as it is very difficult. And a good sign, rather him do this than debilitate, but he might just kill me. So I might as well just eat my words now. And I'm dead. Okay, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch over to my Maniacs version, which I think is fine. I think I can do that and just use the save file here, because you might think a save file of the Chronicles version that might not be able to be applied to a Maniacs disc, but I think it can. I believe it can. If you have Rido in your party or something, it just turns into Dante. I'm messing around here with stuff I probably shouldn't, but yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure I want to show all the stuff here. Well, I'm gonna lock, no, I'm not wrong thing to lock. I'm gonna lock this. Yeah, I won't show it. I'll be back with Maniacs booted. Give me a sec. Okay, seems fine so far. One. Additional Western title screen. Special is here now. Code. Okay, yeah, here are all my save files. I haven't done this before. I haven't, like, crossed the streams here, so to speak. Okay. And... yeah, Rido has just turned into Dante. Cool. Alright, I think we can do this and it'll be fine. Maybe there'll be a difference in AI, maybe there won't. Who knows? I just don't want him to use Debilitate. That's all. As much, I should say. I was battling the other 3 kings, and I noticed like they wouldn't use certain moves, like sometimes they just completely wouldn't, and that might be based on me having a Magatama to block their elementals, or having Tetrakarn on. That stuff might affect it, I don't know. But yeah. Some of them would, I think, was it the electric one? Was that Jikokuten? I don't know. I think it was the one that uses electric that I deflected electric, and he isn't immune to electric himself. It might have been one of the other elements. I don't know, but somebody kept hitting my reflect and then hitting themselves, and they didn't even like nullify or reflect or absorb their own element, so they just kept dealing damage to themselves. I'm like, why? What? Why? There's like clearly like a weakest one. It might be Zochoten, it might be Jikokuten, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going in Maniac style. Not sure if that'll make much of a difference, but I will have to switch eventually, as I said earlier, for the Lucifer fight, and by extension the Kagutsuchi fight, because they're both back-to-back. I think some of the text might be different there too. Because in this version they have weird localizations, such as calling the menorah candelabra, and that was fixed in certain other versions, and I think also fixed in the fan translation by Mr. Time. I forget the first name there. Did that. There might be other version differences here at play, like, I'm not sure if they tweak the formulas, damage, whatever, what have you. We'll just see how this... Double Glacial Blast to bleed. To bleed? No, to bead. I don't want to bleed. That would be adverse to my goals here. Okay. And Fog Breath. Uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. Dodge it! Oh my god, yes, yeah! It's so... it's so fun when that happens. Oh, I have to endure. Dodge it! No! God damn it. And I don't think a Rakukaja would have necessarily made me live there. Probably not. It's only a single Rakukaja. But just in case this affected things positively, I'll just stay here on the Maniacs version. Why not? If I could go back in time, I probably would just do this completely on Maniacs, because I have to, again, switch when it comes to final boss fights. Most people do this on Maniacs anyways. As I was saying earlier, doing a Focus Ray Kugel I don't think is going to do more damage than, say, a quadruple Glacial Blast. I don't think, on average, that'll be the case, except for maybe if it crits. If it crits, that might deal more damage than 4 Glacial Blasts, potentially. I guess it depends on how many times the Glacial Blasts land each time, because each Glacial Blast can hit from 1 to 2 times, because it's a random move, and random moves have a very weird quirk to them. You have to, like, parse it. It's got so many, like, stipulations to it, but it's like, it can hit 2 to 5 times, but for a singular target, it can't hit more than twice, right? can hit 2 to 5 times across all of the enemies that it's hitting, something like that, right? It can't hit 5 times on a single target, no. But if there's 4 targets in front of you, it can hit 4 of them individually, or like 1 of them twice, something like that. But even then, there's stipulations therein at that point. I'm not sure. I was able to remember all the weird quirks with it, but yeah, for each individual target for a random move, it can't do more than twice. Oh, wow, cool. Lucky. Wish a blast. Blast. He is a quadruple physical attack. But I can get 2 fog breaths out now because I dodged that. It's really nice. That might be my ticket to winning. Who knows? So it'd be most ideal here if he Dragon's Eye, or use my Kakaja 4 times. Shit, that's not good. Might be able to dodge though. No, that didn't do too much damage though. Dodge it! Dodge it! Yes! Oh my god! My Endure's gone, but I live. A little risky. I have to bead. And I need to start working on Rakukajas. Hopefully he doesn't debilitate. He does have the highest physical, I need to remember that. Okay, if he's gonna go for 4 of those, I need a Dekaja Rock. This won't kill me, whatever it is, unless maybe it's Prominence. I dodged it! Nice! As Big Clingy says, and also somebody who plays Shin Megami Tensei games on their channel, the best defense against Almighty is having high agility, because if you dodge it, it deals 0 damage to you. Which I think is pretty good advice. Alright. Kaja Rock and Rakukaja. Alright, now we're at +2. Up. Oh, you. Okay, I think his AI is a little bit different. I'm at minus for Rakukaja, -1. I need to remember that. Alright, I'm running low on. I need to lock in just to keep all my moves in check. I'll do that. No, 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 don't do that. Oh. Well, that's not good. I don't know, maybe he's doing that because I'm buffing? I don't know. I mean, I know he used Akaja because I buffed. You know, I have no other reason than that. Yeah, my Fog Breath kind of shot because he's used Debilitate. And I'm dead. Okay. Oh. Kind of funny, I don't know. Ugh. If my Rakukaja is baiting him out to use stuff like Dekaja and Debilitate, that's kind of rough. Because he kind of has the edge up on me there, right? I'm losing more if he does that. But at the same time, if I don't Rakukaja, he's going to be hitting very hard on those moves where he doesn't just buff himself 4 times and then 1 move. Right? If he uses 4 damaging moves after a Dragon's Eye, and I don't have any Rakukajas, that's not good. But maybe him being buffed or not is a big difference maker there. And again, I'm not sure about formula differences between this and Chronicles, or possibly hard type shenanigans on the patch that I was playing earlier. But yeah, I guess we just gotta keep throwing our heads to the wall and see what happens. This is the Nocturne experience. Regardless if this is a challenge run or not, it's It's part of the game, honestly. At least in my opinion, it is part of the experience of playing a lot of SMT games. Just throwing yourself in and taking notes and seeing what can happen in it. That's kind of the fun of it, in my opinion. And I could get into a whole conversation about, you know, the difficulty in this game, whether a game being difficult should be respected as a intentional game design intention, right? But there's also another argument out there opposed to that of like, well, all these games should have an easy mode, or it should be accessible for people. And I want more people, as I said earlier, I want as many people as possible to at least try this game out and check it out, because I think it's so awesome. But it is made in mind with, like, it's going to be difficult for a lot of people, right? And I don't know, over the years I've become more on the creator side of the argument of, like, if a creator wants the game to be difficult, I think that's their choice to make, right? If it gatekeeps people, if it's just not people's style, then, you know, that's just how it is. It is always a shame, like, if you buy a game, right? You buy a game. Oh no! See, this is the exact scenario. At least I can show it off here. If you jump the gun like this, you can potentially miss, and then you die. Actually, I'll just have my endure pop, which is not fun, but I at least get to live. Hey, got an avenge off. Oh, what no fog breath does to a motherfucker. Okay. Alright. Oof. Yep. Now you can probably see why I said we might not be finishing this fight tonight. I've been rather lucky up to this point for all my Nocturne streams, which has only been, I think, 3 before this. The things have gone relatively smoothly. I'm not sure how many attempts, like, say, Moat took? I don't even remember, it's been a while. Arimon took me like 2 attempts, I think. And Metatron, I think that was only 1 attempt, wasn't it? Maybe it was multiple? I can't remember. I don't want to go back to those streams because they were recorded very badly. But yeah, I'm kind of lucky that those fights were as smooth as they were. I prepared rather thoughtfully for them, but for something like this, it's definitely not going to be as simple as I go in and I win on my 2nd or 3rd attempt. Nope, not for a fight like this, unless I grind a bunch, but again, as I said earlier, I don't want to do that. Too cheesy. I definitely don't want to make this seem like the run I'm doing here is anything revolutionary, because, you know, I'm following, well, I followed a guide for a little bit. There's a guide out there, I might give credit to it one of these streams, but yeah, there's a whole guide out for this. I think multiple guides, actually, for this specific run, this specific rule set here. There are other people who played this exact thing here, what I have, except with only 1 press turn, which is, like, I'd say exponentially more difficult. I'd even say Robin and Zephyr's run of, you know, 1 press turn on normal mode is more difficult than this. So it's nothing ultra impressive that I'm doing here. Maybe relatively impressive compared to, say, a normal run of hard mode run of Nocturne played standardly. But for the most part, this is just a fun little modification. Not modification. Just a self-imposed rule set, which usually I'm not really a fan of, like, self-imposed rules, because I always have that tendency of, like, I just want to use what's at my disposal, you know? Especially if it's, like, the game is designed poorly in some fashion. Like, if I'm going to talk about a different SMT game, for example, I don't like SMT5's Omagatoki, I think that's what it is, Omagatoki Critical. That's like the Magatsuhi skill you have for the entirety of the game, and I think it kind of breaks it. It makes the game too easy. You always have that move coming up eventually, and then you're just going to use it when it's available, for the most part. right? It's not, there's not too much in-depth, like, consideration with it. It's just, it's there and you get free press turns, right? You critical with all your moves, that's it, right? I'm not a fan of it. So, my playthrough of SMT 5 Vengeance, when Vengeance came out, I self-imposed a rule on that, actually. I said, no, I'm not going to use Amogotoki Critical. You actually get another similar move later, called Amogotoki Succession. I didn't use that one either. I just tested it out for a little bit, just a few random encounters. But I was like, no, this is broken too, so I'm gonna just not use it. And that self-imposed rule was actually really fun for that playthrough. If your playthrough SMT5 is easy, or you're not really a fan of Amogotoki Critical, I suggest not using it, right? It makes the game more fun, in my opinion. I use the other Magatsuki skills from my other demons in my stock, and they're actually really fun and creative to use, right? You can actually plan around using them. I used, like, I forget what it was. It was some kind of, like, status ailment, I want to say. Status ailment Magatsuki skill. On one of the bosses, I think it was Zen I had on my team, Z-H-E-N, that demon. And that was fun. I kind of, maybe not cheesed a battle, but I did something with it. Using that Magatsuki skill. So yeah, I've kind of warmed up a little bit on self-imposed rules like that. It's just like, when you have to self-impose a rule like that, it is very indicative of, like, you know, something in the base game might have been flawed. And for the case of SMT5, yeah, I would say there's a flaw of the game. But for something like this, it's, in Nocturne, this run here, it's me just getting more mileage out of the game, right, as much as possible. Taking a game and making a new game out of it, so to speak. Okay, what was I doing? I think I thought with me. No, don't. Okay. I guess I'll rock the Kaja, that'll put me at -1. Oh no. Well, that's -3. And guess what? I have a decent chance to miss now, and I'm doing pitiful damage. Great. I guess now that I'm only -2, he could use turns to debilitate me even more, but it was probably just a dead run. Oh no. Yeah, all of my fog breaths are essentially doing nothing because I'm -4, but he's also -4 for accuracy, so it's just like basically like we're both at neutral for that when it comes to actually landing moves. So yeah. Dead run. Again, I would like to check other people's playthroughs with this, with the solo hard challenge, or any kind of solo run for the Bishamonten fight specifically, because I want to see if they're getting debilitated like I am this often, because that is rough. That is really rough to get debilitated, like, at all. Even outside of the debilitate, this fight is really, really aggressive. Okay, I think I've talked about Nocturne way too much. I know there's a Nocturne stream, so I guess I have a pass to talk about it as much as I want and gush, but I want to make things a bit more, with a bit more variety, I suppose. So maybe I'll talk about the other topics I lined up here. Apart from Persona 3 and 4, playthroughs of that, another thing that delayed me actually using this capture card here and streaming Nocturne, Silksong came out, right? Hollow Knight Silksong, if you have not heard. Most people have, because it's one of the biggest indie games to release basically ever, right? It came out a few weeks ago, and as soon as that came out, literally the day I think it came out, I was planning on streaming that specific day. But then, you know, I found out, oh, it's coming out that day. Well, I guess I gotta play it, and then I played it, because it's only $20. It's like a real steal of a game, honestly. It's pretty cheap, but I would say, like, if you're considering getting it, probably play the original Hollow Knight first, because Silksong, there's a few things about it that pushed me to say you should probably play the original Hollow Knight first. For one, it's more difficult, right? It kind of expects you from a gameplay perspective that you've already played original Hollow Knight. If you haven't, you're probably gonna get your ass kicked. So just to get your sea legs at the very least, pick up original Hollow Knight, which is also a steal, by the way. 15 bucks for a great Metroidvania like that. Yeah, pick that shit up. Speaking as somebody who doesn't usually play Metroidvanias, which I do want to get into more, original Hollow Knight was really fun. I think I don't usually like relaying my out of 10 scores, because I don't exactly like out of 10 scores, but I like to keep the thoughts of how much I've enjoyed a game written down. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll give things scores, I guess. It's mostly an enjoyment score as opposed to like how I think in a game objectively scores. But I gave original Hollow Knight 8.5, and now that I've played and finished Silksong, 100% by the way, I got everything in the game that you can do. Took me about 60 hours, I want to say, to 100% Silksong. I think at the end of the day, I think I like it more. There were a lot of frustrating moments because, again, it's expecting a lot of you. It's a rather difficult game, especially in comparison to original Hollow Knight. So there were some, like, not controller throwing or anything, but there were some moments where I'm like, man, fuck this fucking fog, you know, shit like that. But I think I like it more because it had a bit more of an emphasis on platforming, weirdly enough, and that's what I wanted from original Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's big emphasis, honestly, was the combat, and especially, I'd say, the boss fights. It might be a bit of a hot take. People might want to say, oh, it's a big balance of exploration and platforming and bosses and combat. In my opinion, the main feature of Hollow Knight, the biggest feature, the one that they should probably sell the game on the most, is the boss battles. Right? That's a big thing about the game, right? And most replay value out of it, too, because, you know, talk about the Hall of Gods, talk about the whole God Home expansion that focuses solely on all the boss fights. Like, that's where a lot of the replay value is. That's where a lot of the whole value of the game is coming from. So there's a huge emphasis on the combat and the boss battles in that game, which is really cool. And there are a lot of boss battles too in Silksong, but when it comes to exploration and platforming for Silksong, there's a few more areas, a few more things that really felt good to do. There's one move called the Claw Line that I really liked. It was basically like a big horizontal dash, put simply, and you can use that to do really fun platforming. So you can even use it in combat too, which is a favorite of mine. But yeah, overall, I really like Silksong. Did I say I gave it like I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 10, right? Comparing it to original Hollow Knight, which I gave an 8.5, I'd probably give Silksong a 9. Double debilitate, awesome. I wonder if me using Fog Breath triggers him using Debilitate. I guess I could test that out, do that next run or something. I've yet to use even War Cry. Might not be too useful, honestly, now that I'm thinking. I only use one Fog Breath, I forget. I'm too scatterbrained. Okay, that's probably a dead run. If it doesn't want me to use Fog Breath or Rakukaja, like that if I start using buffs and debuffs and he's like, okay, you want to play that way, and he just debilitates me a bunch, that really throws things off here. That throws off my general strategy. But yeah, Silksong was really fun. I even did the speedrun achievement, the one that's get to the end of the game before 5 hours. That was really fun to do, actually. I think I beat it in like 3 to 4 hours, something like that. Because it's a cool route. There's actually a route to get to like the very end of the game, fairly early. Like there's a back entrance to like the final area of the game. It's rather cool. Yeah, I did that, and one freaking boss gauntlet that was really frustrating to get through. It's a gauntlet of enemies, actually, in an arena. They have these 2 huge hulking behemoths that fall down, and that's the final thing to get to the end. It's so frustrating because there's also contact damage in these games, right? It can be really frustrating when there's a huge enemy that's like moving around and like its own body is a huge ass hitbox you have to avoid, right? So it'll be a bit of a pain in the ass. But that was mostly the main tricky part of that speed run. Even then, I only lost so much time to that. I still had an hour or so of time remaining. I don't think this is a run that's gonna win. Just a hunch. Even though I was supposed to Glacial Blast 2 times. Whatever. I'm killing the run myself. But overall, yeah, I recommend Silksong. If you played original Hollow Knight, you're probably already, like... thinking about picking it up if you haven't already. There's a lot of hype surrounding the game, too. Honestly, like, it started getting kind of annoying, in my opinion. People just like, when's Silksong coming out? When is it? And it's like, oh, this is a small indie team, small-ish indie team that's doing this game, and they're putting a lot into it. Like, at a certain point, I'm like, you know, people calm down, please. I get like, it became a meme, right? It's kind of like there's a layer of irony to it, and I'm just like, yeah, even with that, it's like, come on, calm down, guys. For me, I don't want to, like, self-grandiorize myself too often, but I like to imagine I'm a bit more patient than a lot of other people when it comes to game releases. If stuff's announced, right? Like, for something like Silksong, I guess I can admit that I only was waiting for about a year because I played original Hollow Knight at the beginning of 2024, I want to say, so I've only been waiting for a year and a half to actually consume this game, and even then I wasn't, like, super duper hyped like everybody else, because original Hollow Knight was okay experience, right? I wouldn't say it was mind-blowing like a lot of other people had. Yeah, there's other controversies too relating to Silksong, such as the price tag, and I won't name names. There's a certain name I could name, but yeah, no, there's a contentious point about the price point being $20, and along with the huge ass scope of the game and like how much content it delivers, and like it is a steal, as I said earlier. It's like the game realistically should be worth like $40+, right? Probably even 50, 60, 70 plus, right? Like the price of an actual modern day release, AAA release. Right? It has that much content, it has that much like good stuff in it to justify a price tag like this, in my opinion. But people were like, you shouldn't price it that low because it sets an unrealistic standard. And I don't know. To me, I mostly go under the rule of thumb of like, if somebody wants to price a game low, right? That's what they want to do. Then let them do that. Like, these guys developed the game. They worked their little fingers to the bone for 7+ years to get this game out. And for me, when they price it at something as low as $20, they want to give the fans, the people who are interested in this game, you know, a very easy, accessible way to do so, right? Especially after all that waiting people have gone through. It kind of, I can't help but feel it comes from the perspective of like, you know, we really want to show this cool piece of media that we made, this awesome game, to as many people as possible, and I think that's a degree of control over your own product, your own piece of artwork, that is respectable, right? If they want to price it that low, they should be able to, without people being like, oh, but if people compare your game to other indie games, they're not going to buy other indie games. I don't know. I think that's also flimsy logic. It's like, not many people are making individualistic comparisons like that so often. And even then, not everybody knows. Like, if you've already played Silksong, you're not going to think, oh, well, Silksong was bigger and also cheaper than this game I'm looking at, so I'm not going to buy this game I'm looking at. Like, I just don't realistically see that as a thought that's going to go by many people's heads. Yeah, that's my stance on it. I think they very well could, because I also follow another dev that like prices their things rather low from what I've seen, or just wants to get the games out there. Like, it's not a huge thing where they're charging it to an exorbitant amount. No, they usually make things free or very, very cheap when they put stuff out, and they're coming from the perspective of, as I described earlier, they just want to get their stuff out there. They just want people to see their stuff and play it and have something to engage with. And I think that's really, really cool and respectful. It's gotten to the point where some people are like, please let me give you more money and pay you, and it's like, I'm also like kind of coming from that perspective, because they deserve so much more than they actually get. But at the same time, they're exercising the control over what they have made, right? That's kind of how I look at it. And I think that should be respected. Respect the artist, man. 'Cause you know what? I'll give you a little secret. I want to be a game dev someday. I genuinely do. I don't have like basically any experience in it, but it's something that I've been kind of encouraged to do just by how much how much I am interested. I wanna do creative stuff eventually down the line. It requires a lot of work, definitely. But with how many people, how many game devs have been like, you know, getting into making a game, you know, it is still a daunting task, but it's not as impossible as it might seem to a lot of you guys. And like, you know, I had a dream as a kid, and I was like, I want to make games. Right? I'm pretty sure a lot of people who really, really liked games as a kid, they had a similar thought of like, I want to make games someday. And like, you know, when the daunting reality comes of like, it's very, very unrealistic for most people to get into that industry and make a living off of it, etc., right? Especially the state of the industry right now, if you're going to go into a big studio and start making games, right? It's quite the tumultuous avenue, some may put it. But, you know, after going through that period of like, oh, I could never become an indie dev, so like, why even bother? I kind of just gave up on that dream essentially. But, you know, with stuff like, you know, Godot coming out, being free and open source, having lots of resources pertaining to that, something like Game Maker being super duper cheap, lots of tutorials there, like all this stuff, and like certain indie devs that I've followed, kind of encouraging people like, yeah, it's actually the easiest it's ever been to getting into game development, right? So I want to test that out. I want to see if that's true. It would be cool to make my own game, because I am inspired by a lot of games. I see this game and I'm like, oh, it's got a really cool system, really cool world, a really cool story. And sometimes I'll think of my own things as an offshoot. I'll be like, hey, this is a really cool system here, but it'd be also even more cool if you added this, or you know, how would it go if, say, these two things affected this third thing, right? I have so many of these like fun hypotheticals, and I'd like to test all of them out and see if I can make a really cool thing out of it. There's so much unexplored territory, so to speak. I find that the coolest idea in the world is like you can make something yourself and like be infatuated by it. Be like, yes, I made a cool thing, and I can, you know, for a game you can replay it, or for a piece of art you can look at it and be like, yeah, I did a really good job, something like that. Because, you know, I've created things before in the past, like not necessarily video games, but some things I've put work and effort to create something, and usually I'm just like, you know, embarrassed or not happy with the product, and I'm just like, oh, whatever. Like, I don't want to be discouraged like that anymore. I want to develop my skills and get something out there. So it's not gonna be easy. But we'll see. We'll see. Right? And honestly, like, me doing these streams is like maybe even a start to that from a loose perspective, like just getting something out there, you know, just speaking my words. And that's kind of what art is to me, right? Is just getting your thoughts and ideas out there, right? You have a humanistic intention, you want to say something, you want to impart something into other people. That's a part of it, right? So this is a very light exercise in that, I'd say. In a loose sense. I even think I heard that from a streamer of like, you know, this platform YouTube is like been going down the drain, which I agree with. So it might not be the best idea to get into streaming or content creation right now, just because of the weird stuff happening over there. But at the same time, it is also important to, like, you know, make stuff, put stuff out there. And I place more of a value on that these days. Progress. And we're quadruple debilitated. Probably makes it a dead run. Oh my god. Skip it? Okay. If I don't skip it, then I'll have to wait through the whole thing. Alright, what else can I talk about? What's another thing? I guess more on the capture card. Funny little story pertaining to it getting into my hands. I said I bought it offline, online, off of an online store. I got it delivered, right? Using USPS, and I thought that wasn't a big deal, right? They have like decent tracking, I guess. Keeps you up to date in the sort, so I was like, okay, that's I guess I'll look at the USPS website to see where it is at any given time and anticipate it coming. And it was on its way, right? It came towards the local distribution center eventually after like some amount of time, I don't remember. And I was like, sweet. Maybe I shouldn't use, actually, I don't know. I'm a little antsy, a little private about certain things, so I'm just going to use random directions here. But like, let's say it's coming from the right? It's going left, coming from the right. And then it hits the distribution center, and I'm like, okay, cool. But then the next day, it keeps going left, past where it's supposed to be. I'm like, no, wait, I'm over here. You were at the distribution center. You were at this proper one. And then it keeps going to the next distribution center all the way past, and I'm just like, it's supposed to be here in a few days. Like, that was the maximum that was set, right? It was supposed to be, to give specific dates here, it was on the 4th of this month it was supposed to be here, and by the 3rd, I think they realized, they're like, oh shit, it's supposed to be this place. So then they rushed it over in a single day, and then I got it right on time before it was considered late. Which, by the way, if it does come late, I don't think there's anything that's given to you. I don't think they do a thing where it's like, oh, if it's late, you get free shipping or refund you your shipping. I don't think they do that. I think I got something off Amazon, and it was late by a day, by the projected day, and they didn't do nothing about it. They didn't say anything. I think maybe they actually said if it like continues to be late, you'll get something. I don't know. They might give you a gift card or some shit. But yeah, it was a funny little story. I was I was kind of antsy about it too, because I was still thinking to myself, I mentioned earlier that like I wasn't even sure this thing was gonna work because it was a sketchy ass listing. So I was like, come on, just get here already so I can freaking test you. And when it finally arrived, I was like very sleep deprived. I was ready to go to bed, and it arrived, and I was like, oh okay, I guess I'm staying up for like an hour to test this shit out. But then it worked. That made me very happy. I said I was gonna do a sound check earlier. Hopefully nothing's fucked up on that end. I guess I can pull up OBS. I guess it looks like the audio's fine. Same levels as it usually was. You double debilitate me while I was looking away. Bishamonten. You double debilitate me. I think I want to play through this challenge run again properly, like actually record it with this this capture card. Oh god. Jesus Christ! Yeah, prominence, you do not fuck with prominence. That does so much damage. It's cool that it's blue though. I really like that it's blue. It's one of the random effects, but it's random heavy fire damage, and I don't think the other elements actually have random heavy. I could look that up right now, but I don't want to open up my browser. Waste precious processing. But yeah, there are certain other elements, if not the rest of them, that don't have a random heavy attack. I think it's only fire? It might only be fire. But yeah, the random moves are really cool. It's so interesting going from Persona to SMT. Like, there's so many weird quirks that are different, such as having the random stuff, because the random MOS skills, the multi-target ones, are like a nice guaranteed, right? You do solid expected damage to every target, assuming you don't miss. That's fine and cool, but when you have the random moves, like, it's, you know, it can be kind of fun, it can be kind of spicy to gamble on that. It has the potential to do higher damage than you normally would with a standard move, because it can hit twice on a single target. But sometimes, if there's enough enemies, you might not even hit the target you want to hit, and then it doesn't die, and then it kills you. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do for streams going forward. Because I have this capture card now, I want to do a bunch of streaming, but you know how this stream is going, I don't think I'm gonna be killing Bishamonten tonight. So the question remains for me: am I gonna stream this tomorrow or the next day? My next stream is gonna be more attempts at this? And I'm thinking probably not. I don't know. That seemed a little boring to do another stream and have a whole another set of hours where I don't kill him. You know, this is gonna take a while. So I don't know. I could stream anything. Who knows? God. Well, not exactly anything. I want to stream some PC games, but as I've said earlier, in different streams, I can't exactly stream whatever I want on my PC. Maybe a few random things. I can stream Dominoid as I've shown, but oh no. I'm not even sure if I'd be able to run, say, Hollow Knight or Silksong, because I thought about, like, I guess I could theoretically stream Silksong. I could have streamed my first blind playthrough, but I was like, nah, no. Kind of wanted to do that one, you know, just off stream on my own whenever I wanted, yada yada. Is it dead run? Kill me! But, I won't get too specific, but I have a new revenue stream coming in to my lifestyle, so I will have some money to spend on stuff, and I want to build my own PC, and theoretically I'll have a good tower that can have good processing to the point where I can stream stuff on that, play most games, because like this low-ish end laptop I have here is not really gonna cut it for certain things, right? I was scared. I got worried. That scared the shit out of me. I placed the controller down on the desk and it vibrated as I died. I'm pretty sure the mic picked that up, but oh my god, this scared the fuck out of me. God. Jesus Christ. Anyways, I picked up Borderlands when it was cheap and I was gonna play that with friends. And I was scared that even that wouldn't run, but surprisingly it did, actually. I had to turn down like a lot of the settings, but it actually runs fairly decently. Even running Discord alongside it was completely fine. For most other games, yeah, not gonna work out. I'd even imagine running Nocturne HD and trying to stream that probably wouldn't work well. I don't know. I guess I haven't tried Steam games, traditional Steam games, when streaming that through OBS. But yeah, as you saw when I tried to play Nocturne on a emulator, excuse me, that did not run so well. But as for other things I could pay for, some fun things and stream them, I have it listed here. I want to play other SMT games, but the ideal way I want to play is on actual hardware, because there are fan translations of the original SMT 1 and 2, or I think both of those might have PS1 ports. So I could get an SMT, or I could get a PlayStation 1 and play those fan translations on actual hardware if I can soft mod those, if I can soft mod the PS1. But soft modding a PS1 is not super duper easy from what I've seen. Like, there's some, like, chips you can solder on, but I'm a little nervous about that. I haven't done too much soldering on my end. Just a little nervous there. There are some other exploits, I guess, using like memory cards, but I'm not too familiar with that. But eventually I want to do something on it. I want to buy a PS1, real hardware, play SMT games on that, the original SMT. I could play If on that, because I think there's a PS1 ported If. Even though I've heard If sucks, a lot of people are like, SMT If is not worth your time. But at the same time, I still want to try it out, see what's actually up with that one. But yeah, it's kind of difficult, like, proclaiming I love mainline SMT or love SMT in general when I've only really effectively played 3 and 5, because I like both 3 and 5. They're really cool, especially Vengeance for the case of 5. I tried to play 4, and that has a really rough early game to the point where I got so frustrated I was just like, I'm dropping this shit. Like, it's really stupid. I'm sorry. Like, I really wanted to like and get into SMT 4 because a lot of other people like it, and it really does have a cool premise to it, right? In terms of story and atmosphere and characters, from what I've seen. But yeah, that early game is kind of rough, and like having the fucking navigator, whatever her name is, like give you tutorials on every fucking thing, every single little tiny detail, was not fun. Having to unlock the ability to like go to fusion and stuff, like it was something like that. Like you had to like use some kind of currency to unlock the ability to fuse stuff. Like this is a basic feature of SMT. Like why do I need to do this? Well, whatever. I'm sorry. I get it. Sometimes when I'm like disappointed with the game, I get rambling mode for those. I'm so scatterbrained. But yeah, it's hard to claim myself as an SMT fan when I've only played so many, so I'd like to eventually get that PS1 and play the old ones, because well, it's a little interesting, because I had to learn, like, oh yeah, the old ones don't have the press turn system, so I wonder how the gameplay actually is. From what I've heard, it doesn't, like, most people who go back aren't really thinking to themselves, oh, I wish this had the press turn system. No, I think it's fairly serviceable enough in terms of its gameplay, from what I've seen. Oh joy, I am dead. This fight is really something. I did mention earlier I have a Sega Saturn that I can stream games from. Actual real hardware. Basically any game, because I have a module that helps with that. And with that, I could play the SMT games that are on there, the two main SMT games I know of that are on the Saturn, that being Devil Summoner and Devil Summoner Soul Hackers. The original Soul Hackers, not Soul Hackers 2, obviously. But the main problem with that is that those don't have translations for the Saturn version. Right? There was a 3DS port for Saturn, I think, or not. There was a 3DS port for Soul Hackers, and that actually got a translation. But I don't want to play Soul Hackers on the 3DS because no, it's not the original intention. You know, I want to play how it was built in mind. You know. So there is actually a fan translation on the way. Maybe you shouldn't say on the way, because it's a little spotty in terms of progress. It's kind of on the back burner for what I can tell right now. But there was a demo for it, and I did play a bit of the demo, and it was really fun. Yeah, once that the translation for Soul Hackers, original Saturn version of Soul Hackers comes out, I will definitely be playing it, because I really like the vibe of the original Soul Hackers 1. There's really cool stuff there. The stuff they can do, man. Just the opening scene with that, like, the colors and the music that plays there, it is so cool. The opening, oh my god, I love the opening. The original Soul Hackers so much. I guess the 3DS version also had its own opening, and that was that music for there was composed by Ryota Kozuka, and I love Ryota Kozuka so much. But I prefer the original. I'm sorry. It's just so straight out of the freaking 90s, man. It's really cool aesthetic. And as for the original normal Devil Summoner, I think that one had a fan translation in the works at some point, and it might technically be on somebody's docket to do, but I don't think it's under active development in any meaningful sense right now, so I'm not really getting my hopes up for that, at least contemporarily. maybe sometime way later down in the future. Like, I don't expect it to come out like in a few years or something. Like, no, if it does come out, it's going to be longer than that probably. And even then, I'm not sure if that's going to be the case for the Soul Hackers one, because the guy who's doing that is also working on other projects right now, which I don't begrudge him for. I'm not gonna rush him or anything. People shouldn't do that. They shouldn't like hound somebody like, hey, when's this thing getting done? This thing dead? Da, da, da. Like, you know, don't do that. That's stupid stuff. It's always so commendable and awesome when somebody does fan projects like this for other people to enjoy, right? Those people should 110% be respected. You know, respect their time, respect their process, because you don't know their background. They could be working like a day-to-day job and they only do stuff like this in their free time and other things come up and shit. Right? They're not obligated to do these things. So always show those guys some love and respect. Keep going on tangents. I don't even know where I am in this fight. I think they double debilitate me. Yeah, I'm wary about putting my controller down again, because if I die, it's gonna scare me again, probably. Oh, it's me dead again. Oh boy. I almost want to like switch games, honestly, just because this is like kind of boring. I don't know. I want to capture the triumphant moment, actually win this fight, but like as it stands now, I might have to grind. I legit don't know if I can get through this in my current state. Just kind of a bummer. But who knows, if I still feel like if we hit that nice spot where he's completely Fog Breath and I'm completely Rakukaja'd, and he just so happens not to use too many debilitates afterwards, I could get probably a really good run going. Because I'm using those Glacial Blasts all the time. If I have free reign to do so, no healing, that's 4 whole Glacial Blasts, could potentially hit twice each time. It's not the most damage in the world, but it's better than like just wailing on him with normal attacks or something like that. I think Robin and Zephyr had to pass, or they did pass on Glacial Blast in their initial run of this challenge run, and they had to rely on fucking Mabufu rocks, and that does like barely any damage. That sounded super rough. Yeah, the thing about hard mode, another Nocturne thing I can talk about is freaking hard mode. Something about it is, in comparison to normal mode, it's like enemies do not double damage per se, but like it's unmitigated, right? The base level of their damage is effectively doubled when you go from normal to hard, which doesn't exactly mean the numbers that are appearing over your head when you get hit are doubled, but it is dealing a significant amount more damage in hard mode. And other things pertaining to hard mode include not being able to run away from battles traditionally, because there is an exception to that. If you hit all of the enemies with status ailments, and it might be specific status ailments too, then you can run away. But for the most part, if you have all of the enemies status ailmented, you're probably just going to end up killing them, right? If you've taken the time to set up this whole thing where all of the enemies are status ailmented, you probably just could already kill them, right? So usually you're just not going to ever end up running away in hard mode at all. Any attempt to do so, you'll just get stopped. So effectively for hard mode, you just can't run away, unless you use a smoke ball, actually. I think that's the one exception there. And on top of that, every single thing you can buy in the game at shops is tripled in price. Yeah, let me say that again. It is tripled in price. If you didn't know that, I'd expect your jaws on the floor, because yeah, that is excessive as fuck. It is rough. It is so rough. It is, oh my god, it's probably the most painful aspect of it, honestly. It's really unnecessary in my opinion. It makes the game feel really grindy and very rough for the early game especially. I think it's, yeah, I don't know. I'd prefer they never had done that. It's, rather excessive. Doubling everything might have been a lot more acceptable in my opinion, but they tripled everything? I think compendium prices are also jacked up as well. I'm not sure to what degree though. But with the fact that you can't run away, leading to the end result of you basically having to fight every single battle, and everything being super expensive, it kind of leads to hard mode just feeling really grindy, honestly, right? It's less of what you'd expect for actual raw difficulty, and more leaning towards being grindy in my opinion. Which leads me to say, like, you know, first time playing Nocturne especially, you should probably just play on hard mode, or not hard mode, normal mode. Just play on normal mode, honestly. The game is plenty difficult enough already if you're going in completely blind on normal mode. But yeah, I guess if you really want to feel the pain, then, you know, go ahead and do hard mode. But honestly, I think the most ideal experience is, maybe for a casual playthrough or a first time playthrough, even just a normal replay through, probably just play on normal mode, honestly. That's at least my hot take. But I don't know, I was actually watching like a Bubble Tea stream, another SMT / Persona content creator here on YouTube, and he played original Nocturne, not Maniacs, the original 2000, I think it's 3 release, and that one is weird because I don't think it has a hard mode. I think it's, weirdly enough, for the damage numbers, it's like a mix between normal and hard mode and Maniacs version, so it's like it's an in-between where they're doing like a little bit more damage in that version compared to the normal mode and Maniacs version. I don't know, it's weird. So I guess what I'm saying here only technically applies to mostly Maniacs version. Yeah, I don't know. Nocturne has so many weird quirks and stuff I could talk ad nauseum about. My god. But that's the thing, man. I still think about Nocturne. I still play Nocturne. It's still like always in the back of my mind, and it's kind of weird. As I wanted to go on a tangent on earlier, is that like I wouldn't have thought that at first, because like I dropped the game midway through. Completely forgot to continue my playthrough, really. You know, even after completing my first few playthroughs of it, I wouldn't even think about considering it my favorite game, right? But it's up there. It's kind of a contender for that title, honestly. With just how much I think about it, and how much I feel like replaying it, and how easy it feels to replay it, honestly. Oh, nice. So yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Nocturne that leaves me so infatuated. I even made that post on Blue Sky when I was playing my replay through. I was posting about my replay through of Digital Devil Saga. I was doing a super grindy part. Like, it's totally unnecessary, by the way. I completed the mantra grid in both games for every single party member. I don't recommend doing that, as there's no reason to. I just, you know, I was like, fuck it, I want to complete the game as much as possible, so why not? And in the middle of that grind, I was just thinking to myself, I miss Nocturne. I made a post exactly like that with the fucking Omni-Man meme, whatever it is. But yeah, I don't know. Nocturne is really cool. I cannot stress that enough. And yeah, I'm definitely not proclaiming it's a perfect game. I'm definitely not. It's not for everybody either. Did I double fog breath already? Man, god damn it, I can't keep track of this shit. Whatever, I'm just gonna start at the record. Damage. That might deal more. Oh, I dodged it! Nice! Okay, this is a really good run. Which sucks because I don't remember if I put on only one fog breath or two. dodge, nice. Oh, that attack does so much. Miss Avenge? Oh my god. The attack has like a high accuracy or something, man. This is the last Rakukaja I need, I think. Don't debilitate me! No! Okay, that's a thing. Okay, now hold on. I think that's going in the memory bank right there, what he just did. Okay, I was at +4 defense. And I think that triggered him to be like, okay, this motherfucker's way too buffed up. I'm gonna Dekaja. And the only time he Dekajas, he's not using Dragon's Eye, right? So he's just gonna use up both of those press turns. First being Dekaja, and I think after Dekaja, he's going to use Debilitate, so that's something to keep in mind. I think I should only go to +3 Rakukaja to avoid that. And I think I've had some, sorry to get stumbled over, my god. My mind runs so fast, my mouth can't keep up. Yeah, it's happened with a few other fights, I think, in both Nocturne and maybe other SMT games I played, where, yeah, don't go to max buffs sometimes, or else they'll get mad at you. But thankfully, he did not attack me. Yeah. I'm gonna use Rakapod. And I guess Rakukaja? I don't know. I'm gonna see if I Fog Breath twice. Okay, I didn't. Wow. Oh my god! Please, please miss! Oh man, that's... Ugh. That was a great run. But hey, look, I got a piece of information. That's the beauty here. That's the ticket, is learning stuff like that. Okay? It's huge. Remember, +3 to Rakukaja, no more than that. And even then, though, I think he did pull the same move of using Dekaja then Debilitate when it wasn't at +4 Rakukaja, but still, I think me hitting +4 was like a significant tell to him to do. So, that's part of my strategy now, just +3 on defense. Oh my god. I bet I'm going first for a lot of these sporadic random encounters. Yeah, that basic attack of his, I don't know why, it's like... That one's almost impossible to dodge, I'm not exactly sure. I think basic attacks might be like... fairly reliable, just generally speaking, for in terms of accuracy, whereas most other moves have a bit more variation, a bit more risk attached to whether they hit or not. There's a whole calculation for if magical attacks move, and I think luck is applied to that for some reason. Formulas in this game are really weird, as I recommend check out Robin and Zephyr's videos on that. Rather entertaining videos. And informative, of course. With how much I've gushed about this game, Nocturne, I said Persona 3 is probably one of my favorite games of all time. I praised Digital Devil Saga, so I think it should be quite clear that I really do like this, what people have called the golden era of Atlas. I really do like this era. Like, I haven't dabbled too much in their like, pre-2000s era, and I really do want to do a big deep dive. As I said, I'm going to play the original SMT 1 and 2. But with this PS2 golden era, like, these are some really solid games here. I'm not a fan of Persona 4, that might be the one exception. But with freaking like all these games here, at least the in-house one, because Atlas is a publisher and they publish other games and they've developed other offshoots, I guess. But you know, Digital Devil Saga, the Rhino games too. I forgot to mention that. Persona 3. I guess maybe I could pop in Persona 4 on the occasion. and still have fun with it, even if I don't generally like the game. And of course here with Nocturne, like, these are some really, really solid PS2 games. And hey, if Nocturne isn't like your steez, if it's like too difficult for you, if it's a little too weird, you want something maybe closer to Persona, because I know Persona is rather palatable and easy to get into franchise. You might want to try Digital Devil Saga. If you're fine playing an older PS2 title, try out Digital Devil Saga. It's got the press turn system here from Nocturne, but it isn't super duper difficult as a game, right? It's not gonna punch you in the face and leave you down there. It is still somewhat difficult, I'd say. More difficult than those Persona games, but not something that's super daunting in my opinion. Didn't do too much though. Oh, nice dodge. Damn it. Yeah, his basic attack there only did like 200, so maybe last time I completely missed out. Maybe he buffed his attack a lot, and that's why him attacking me on that good run was quite the detriment. I don't know. Maybe I'll do some attempts off stream. I didn't want to do that because if I had just happened to get a godly run and beat him, that would be kind of disappointing that I just so happened to not be streaming for it. But, you know, with how devastating a lot of these attempts have been, I more than likely won't happen. I only do so many attempts. I might try that. I might do some grinding too off stream. But yeah, Bishamonten hasn't been made clear. No joke at all, especially for this run, my god. Even a casual playthrough, these fights can be really rough if you don't know what you're doing. Or are under-leveled, because you should be like level 80-ish for these freaking battles. Quite endgame, but the reward is more than worth it, honestly. And with that, I think I've run out of discussion topics that I've written down. I guess I do also have, talk about metaphor here also. Oh, god damn it. Debilitate! Because there was a bit of a discussion on social media about, like, oh, it didn't have that much staying power, so the game kind of sucks, right? Like, I don't know. It was really stupid. I think Metaphor is a great game. Though... It's a little embarrassing that I haven't finished Metaphor. It's been like nearly a year, and I'm like I was very close to the end after I binged the absolute fuck out of it, but like that's what happens when I play these games. I'm so like focused in and dedicated to the point where I get burnt out towards the very end of it, and I just end up like putting it off a lot. So yeah, but from what I've played, right, which is a majority of the game, grand majority of the game, very, very solid game, right? It might not have people still talking about it to this day. I think that's a mixture of different things. Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird going from something that's like rather grounded and very easy to get into, like Persona, that can spark very, very easy discussion, to something that's like talking about fantasy and fantasy topics and redefining what fantasy is or means, right? Stuff like that. It's kind of... It feels kind of backwards for some people to the point where it might not stick with them as much as, say, a Persona game would. And there I go. Yeah, the gameplay is absolutely solid, at the very least, of not Nocturne, but Metaphor. Nocturne has infected my brain, god damn it! But yeah, it's kind of referred to as a job class system. I'm not sure I'd exactly call it that. But it is like, you know, you can assign people different things and movesets, unlock different movesets for different people. Like, you can make all of your party members go brawler and just go absolutely ham with physical skills. The very first like real dungeon of Metaphor was really fun for me because I tried to do the whole thing in one go without returning and refreshing my SP because I wanted to save on like time. In-game time, not exactly out of game time. You know what I mean. But that was a really fun experience because I got to the end of the dungeon, had like 0 SP, and there's a boss at the end that I hadn't done, and I'm like, well, I have 0 SP or 0 MP, whatever it is, mana, what have you. I had no recovery skills on that front, nothing, so like everything was logically telling me, okay, like, you know, exit the dungeon, come back later, then do the boss, right? But I didn't want to do that. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So I switched 2 of my party members to Brawler, and Brawler doesn't take up SP or MP with its moveset. It takes up HP. And I had one, I think he was the protagonist, I still had a little bit of magic with. So I turned the other 2 into Brawlers, and they were just going ham with... combination attack was light, and I think the boss was weak to light, so I ended up like forming this strategy around my predicament and still beating it. It was really, really fun and satisfying experience. It was so cool. I was thinking about it earlier too with this whole like staying power thing, what have you. It's like, I honestly want to say at this point, Alice set the bar like super high for their games and what people expects out of their games, you know, like I don't really want people to go into games like, I want this to stick with me, you know, because like that's such a huge bar. Like you don't, I don't know, you shouldn't expect every single game you play, right? Even for every single game that you play from Atlas, for example, to like stick with you and like change your life. I think that's going in with a very, very high expectation, and you're just leading yourself to disappointment. I'd much rather have the discussion be more on like the meat of these games and what's in them, or what could be improved, or what was very novel addition, as opposed to like, this game didn't stick with me, didn't change my life, or nobody's talking about it anymore. It's kind of just like a bunch of hoopla to me. I don't really care for those talking points really. What I can say is I 100% recommend Metaphor to anybody who's a fan of SMT or even Persona Combat. Really cool system, if and only if for the gameplay it's worth your time and money, honestly. That being said though, and it's funny, the game has like a theme around anxiety. With how much you can do in that game and how much you can like plan around stuff, how much you can interact with the job class system, at least that's what people call it, how much you can do with side quests, how much you can do with like making a build, this, that, and the third. With so much you can like optimize and do, the game kind of got like overwhelming to me, honestly. For me as a player, with my sensibilities and what I naturally like to do, it almost became too much, right? To the point where I think that's why I kind of put off the game for a while, was because like there was just so much to interact with. You know, you got equipment for everybody, and everybody has all these classes, and each class has their own weapons, so like you can switch weapons between people if you so choose, and that might not be the most interchangeable thing, given like there's so much you can optimize and so much you can keep in mind, but it's not required, right? I play on hard mode, right? But even then, in hard mode, it's not like the most difficult thing in the world. So, I don't know, all this optimization I was doing around it was not completely needed, so I kind of screwed myself out mentally. But still, it is, I'd say that is one of the best features about the game, is that there's so much to it on that end. Oh my god! Dodge it! God damn it. Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to like what he's been buffing on himself. Haven't been playing around that, I guess. To be fair, that was only like my second turn of being able to do something. We've been going for nearly 3 hours at this point, my goodness. I'm surprised my internet hasn't dipped down or the stream hasn't completely shit itself. But I don't know, I guess that's a good sign. Should look a gift horse in the mouth. Yeah, maybe I'll give it a few more tries here, and then I'll end the stream. Because I can't see myself, you know, oh, 1 more hour, and I think I can get it now. I don't exactly think so. Even then, the stream was more so about like talking about a bunch of shit rather than like focusing on my progress here on this run through here. Had to talk about the capture card I got, talk about the break I took from streaming, and talk about these things, the other games I've played and shit. So I apologize if you were going into this stream hoping, oh, that'll be a super cool battle here. No, it's just me getting absolutely destroyed 15 times in a row. Either that or me just standing still, waiting to make a decision while I talk about random shit. So I apologize if this is not quite the content we were looking for. Oh yeah, I think I told this story. I'm running the game on an actual disc now, because I switched over from Chronicle to Nocturne. Fun fact, I think I said this on my Blue Sky when I was talking about fixing on my PS2, but this disc I have of Nocturne, oh, I need to clear my throat a little more. Excuse me for a second. Okay, sorry about that. Oh no. Anyways, with this disc, when I fixed up my PS2, I had to open it up and mess with the internals to replace the laser. Right? And by doing that, I messed up the ribbon cable, so the ribbon cable was sticking up into like the disc spinning area, to the point where I put in Nocturne, my disc of Nocturne, to test things out, and the disc spun, and as it spun, it was touching the ribbon cable. And that ribbon cable on top is rather smooth, so you think it wouldn't, you know, do too much damage, but with how fast those discs spin, yeah, it scratched up the disc. And I was like, oh shit, so I taped down the ribbon cable, right? It's still taped down right now. I probably should do a proper replacement of it, but I'm too lazy. But yeah, it scratched up my disc, and I was like, okay, maybe it'll still run fine. Like, it wasn't too bad, like I caught it early, I guess. I got to the first boss battle with Fornius, and the battle didn't start, and I was like, oh shit. So I was like, fuck, what was that one trick? Oh yeah, I remembered as a kid, like my dad, whenever like a DVD was scratched up and wouldn't play, Dad would take the disc and smear a little bit of peanut butter, like we'd take a little dab of peanut butter with like on top of like a napkin or something, and coat it on the back of the DVD, like thin layer spread it, right, as thin as possible, right, and magically it would work, right, it would fix things, it would fix up the DVD, right, and maybe it worked on CDs too, I don't know. I'd imagine it would also, but whatever. And I was like, was that just placebo? Was that like, you know, kind of like the blowing into the cartridge? Just by the way, blowing into the cartridge doesn't really do anything. If only I learned this, by the way, from a YouTube video. If anything, the blowing into a cartridge would probably hinder your chances of having the game run better. Yeah, I was thinking to myself, is this peanut butter trick, was that always like placebo? Was that always just random chance or whatever? But I gave it a shot. I'm like, if I can't get through this boss fight, this disc is fucked anyways. So I put some peanut butter on it, I smeared it around, I went into the Fornius fight, and it worked. It actually freaking worked. I don't know, it's quite weird. I'm not even sure too many people know about it. But it freaks people out. Like, I saw somebody who was streaming, they talked about it, and they talked about it in a fashion of, like, they didn't believe it. Like, they were just like, I think people, like, smear peanut butter on the back. Like, so weird, right? And I'm like, I wanted to chime in chat. I didn't, I don't think. I wanted to chime in, like, no, it actually works. It worked. It freaking works. I told my friends that, like, I did this, and it made my disc work, and they were freaked out. They were like, put peanut butter on the back? What the fuck? It's only a small amount, by the way. It's not like I've gunked up my disc and put it in my PS2. No, it's just a small little bit. But yeah, for some reason, it just works. I looked up the reason, and the two main reasons are that, like, it fills in the crack, right? If there's any kind of seam in there, it fills it in, and it has some kind of reflective property on it that, like, reflects the laser back in a fashion that it needs to be reflected back. and that just helps the game run better. Now, to be fair, I tried this this trick with a different disc, with a PS1 disc, for a part of that game. It was Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories. I tried the peanut butter trick on that game, and it didn't work. For one battle, it just couldn't get through. Right, so it isn't foolproof, but if it is just like lightly scratched in some place, that peanut butter trick might save you. So if you're listening to this right now and you can't get a DVD or CD to work, maybe try that. I can confirm that for some cases it might actually work. But yeah, that is really crazy fun fact. I have also heard people use toothpaste, which might have the same filling of the cracks and reflective properties. I can't give my own account to that, but I'd be willing to lend a bit of credence to it because like of how crazy the peanut butter one is. So maybe that works. I don't know. I cannot confirm that one though. I haven't tried that, but I can advocate for peanut butter though. I died again. Yeah, maybe I'll give it one more attempt here, and then I'll wrap things. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'll stream. I could stream tomorrow, maybe. I have an appointment, but it shouldn't that shouldn't take long. I've had other things to do these past few days that have been later at night, and usually when I get done with them, I'm just drained, and I'm just like, oh no. But the thing I gotta do tomorrow shouldn't take too long, shouldn't be draining at all. So maybe I'll stream tomorrow, and I'm not sure what I'll stream. I don't think I'll stream this. I might do something else, like grind up in this, or do research before I end up attempting this on stream again. But now that I have this capture card, I can play any PS2 game I can ever hope to do. I guess a fun game to stream would be, if I'm still in the land of Atlas and SMT, I could stream DDS, Digital Level Saga, but, like, I did recently, as I said, complete those games, full Matcha Grid for everybody, so I probably should swear off that game for a while, you know, choose to replay it sometime way later down the line. I don't want to overgorge myself on it, you know? Part of the fun of coming back to games is, like, you know, forgetting what's a part of it, and then re-remembering or finding new stuff and be like, oh, this is actually here. And I think if you replay a game too much, then you're not going to get too much out of that aspect of it. But yeah, I'll rack my brain, see what I could play. More than likely a PS2 game, but I don't know. Perhaps a Saturn game, because I have that set up here as well. The thing about the RCA splitters that I wanted to mention, apparently some locations at Best Buy still sell RCA splitters for whatever reason, right? They only had a few available from where I got these ones from, but yeah, I would not imagine that, because like, what fucking thing uses RCA anymore except for like old vintage fucking legacy hardware, like a PS2 for instance, you know? Apparently they had them. And that was kind of a pain in the ass. Not a pain in the ass. It was kind of annoying that I had to buy more. I say more. Basically, I used to have RCA splitters for a different capture card way back in the day, like when I was back in high school. And I think I lent that capture card and all of the cords relating to it, including the RCA splitters, to them, and I never got it back from them. I think they forgot and I forgot. So yeah, it was kind of felt bad, but I'm not gonna message them today and be like, hey, do you have my stuff? Like, I don't wanna be that guy. I'd rather, because I haven't talked to them in a while, so it'd probably be much more of a normal, sane human being thing to do. Be like, hey, let's we haven't talked in a while. What's up? Or let's go hang out or something. You know, I don't want to immediately swing out like, can I get my RCA splitters back? This is probably a dead run because it quadruple debilitated me like an asshole. Oh god, I looked at the stream and I saw the timer at 00, and I'm like, oh shit, did the stream it? No. But that's the... I was looking at the recording one, but I'm not recording, I'm streaming. If I looked a little bit to the left, I would see... Oh, the stream's still going. For about 3 hours now. Hey, I'm not dead! Wait. Oh, I love doing 150 damage to an endgame level 99 bot. Are they level 99? They might be level 80 or something. They're maxed out on all stats, I know that for sure. I'll use a summer droplet one. I don't even know what his buffs are at this point. And there I go. Well, this was certainly a stream. No, it was a fun stream. Even though I didn't make any progress, I am still glad I tested this out and it all presumably works. I think the stream, in terms of function, went okay. And now that we've gone through this proof of concept, I can stream most games that I kind of wanted to stream. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'll end up streaming. I could boot up Persona 3, my playthrough of Persona 3, but that is a rather rigorous 100% playthrough, and like 100% max social links run of Persona 3 Fest is like quite intense actually, like very meticulous. So it's kind of like I always have like a guide pulled off to the side, and like Big Clingy's run also a playlist of his videos, which by the way, shoutouts to him again for that playthrough. So yeah, I probably want to do that all on my own time. I could play the Raito games, but it's kind of weird playing Raito now because the HD remaster is out. And I didn't actually buy it because I'm admittedly kind of broke. But I wanted to because Raito is awesome. Raito's cool as a franchise. I'd really like to see that game get a third entry. But presumably they do the HD remaster King of Badon first. I'd like to check out the initial remaster, which I've heard good things from and a little not so good things from. But those are really cool games, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I'll rack my brain about it. I'll see what games I can play. But yeah, for now, I guess that's it for the stream. I'm gonna end it. I don't know what else to mention. I think that's all. Fun stream. Hope whoever may have tuned in had a good time, or found out something interesting, or laughed at a joke, or found one of my anecdotes interesting, whatever. So yeah, I'll be back with another. God, really. Oh shoot. One moment. Can you... Okay. Oh my god. So, right as I'm about to wrap up the stream, my mic falls because the notches are loose, and then my cord comes unplugged, and then it updates the gain so that I'm super loud, so I apologize. I hate this fucking... I need a better mic, I guess. Because, like, it's really weird, like, whenever I unplug it, it, like, updates the gain or some shit, and, like, I have to readjust and unplug and replug it. It's stupid. Sorry for that shoddy ending, that's disappointing now, isn't it? Whatever. Those people probably aren't watching at this point. Okay, anyways, that was my stream of Nocturne, quote-unquote, because I didn't really get anything done. But yeah, I had fun. It's a cool stream. I'll be back with another stream sometime. I promise I won't go for another 2-month break or what have you, because I got a lot of stuff I can do now. But yeah, I'll see y'all some other time. Okay, peace.